perpetrating a culture that's not their own. So I do believe that.
Wait, so the Jews are really non-Jews? Like
well, the Jews are really black people. The Jews are black.
The people that call themselves Jews.
Right, the so-called Ashkenazi. They call them Ashkenazi Jews.
Hey, nigga, you gonna prove that, or you gonna be making claims?
No, it's proven.
You said it again, man. You said it again. You said the N-word again.
Bro, you can pay the tariff or jump off, bro.
Hold on, hold on. Hey, Afro Ham, you gotta go, or you gotta pay your fine.
Nah, nigga, you're
all right, go ahead.
Fucking clown kid.
Yeah, so I believe we are the Jews. I believe that. I believe in Parliament, but I believe a lot of blacks are Jews. That's why when you read into the Bible, it say that we in Deuteronomy 28:68 chapter did say that the real Jews going to be sold into Egypt again, and there you shall be sold for bondmen and bondwomen, which means slave men and slave women, and no man shall buy you. But that buys the Greek word, which means redeem you. So I do believe, if you really read through certain texts in the Bible, that we are the Jews. We are the true children of Israel. That's why we're suffering so much today, because we not, doing what we're supposed to do. So I do believe that.
Did you go on a ship to Egypt? When was the last time you?
Egypt means bondage.
So Babaliko, do you believe you are a Jew?
Yes, I believe we are.
Oh Lord.
Israel.
I think you're LARPing. You know what LARPing is?
We are the. I believe it's a part that we are the children of Israel, because if you
Bob, let me ask you this: what's the obsession with Israel? Black people's obsession with Israel? I don't get it.
I think
it's because it's mentioned in the Bible as a group.
But Israel,
that's really the main thing.
I believe that we've been hijacked. I believe that we've been hijacked of our culture, and that's the problem. We've been hijacked.
Well, hold on 1 second. Jewish apologetics. It's not your turn yet. You will get your chance. But I don't understand black folks' obsession. Babaliko, have you traveled outside of the country before?
Yes.
Like, have you traveled to Africa before?
Yes, I've been to Ghana and I've been to South Africa.
So, like, did you go to the Kumasi, like the Ashanti region?
I've been to Kumasi. I've been to where they sold.
I just don't understand the obsession with the Bible when you have Kumasi, when you have Yoruba, when you have I just don't get it.
No, I understand what you're saying. I didn't believe it too until I start reading into certain things that it was telling me, and we start bringing books together and going into. From Hebrews to from Negroes to Hebrews, I have all that books here, so I do believe.
But what in those books actually prove? Because when we were sold, we were Yoruba, we were Igbo, we were Mende, we were nobody was claiming to be a Jew or Hebrew.
But that's what they're saying. They're saying when we flee into Africa,
who said that?
The Hebrews. That's what they were saying.
Oh Lord, the Hebrews that claim to be Hebrews that just started
right. Well, they say when we flee into Africa, we pick up the culture like just in America. That's why we say we Black Americans. So they're saying it's the same thing that happened back then. We pick up a lot of African cultures because. If you look at some of them African, they do different things. Some of them had a lip. Some of them do the thing cut in the face. They have different cultures. So they're saying we don't do those stuff, to some of them Africans. So how we could have tell that we wasn't from there. And they're saying, I don't know, that's where they say most of us come from Igbo. That's what they were saying. And a lot of our people are in Ethiopia, because Ethiopia have a lot of Jews as well. I don't know if you know that.
But they're Falashans and they consider themselves they're Ethiopians, but they're Falashans. But there's an actual documented history of Ethiopia's interaction with Israel.
Yeah, but Donis, it had to have some connection there, because why would you?
There's no connection.
So you don't think we have nothing to do with Israel? We not know?
Absolutely not.
Hey,
there's nothing documented. I mean, it's very clear. Every ethnic group has their own gods. They have their own creation story. They have their own language. They have their own everything. It's just, again, my theory is because white people value romanticize the Bible and Israel, we just pop them and say, "Oh,
the Bible is not a white man. The Bible is not a white man's book, Donis.
Hey, Donis, why do Israel accept the Black Israelites?
But
Why do Israel accept the black Hebrew Israelites, and why do they get them land?
Can I help you guys?
No. We gotta pass the mic. We got more people on the panel.
Okay. Okay.
No. So
I'll get to that one.
Babaliko, say that one more time.
Yeah, I don't believe the white man. The Bible is a white man's book. I believe the
okay. So I grew up a Christian. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
The most popular version of the Bible that I saw all black people with was the King James version.
Yes, 16. Okay. Yeah, the King James version. But if you read the Bible, right, Don, and if it's a white man book, why would the lady on the well mistaken Jesus for Egyptian? Why would Moses was in Pharaoh land all these years, and they think he was a Pharaoh? And we know those people.
There's no when you go to Egypt, there's no documented history of a Jesus or a Moses going to those places at all.
You think there's just is made up stories in the Bible?
I think it's just made up stories. I think it's all allegory and stories.
It could be.
There's no written story of when you go to Egypt of any Moses, any Jesus.
So you've been to Egypt,
but they have documented history of all those pharaohs, and those pharaohs their bodies are still there.
And why did they take off all the nose? I was looking at the documentary.
Well, that's different from what we're talking about. Yeah, that's different. They took off the nose, but there's just no.
Babaliko, I will help you.
When is your turn, Africa? There's no documented history of any group of people called the Jews or the Hebrews from Israel being lost in Egypt or whatever. It's not there.
Okay.
It's just not there. Go ahead, Ngolo.
Good afternoon, brother. Bro, just to be honest, bro, this is embarrassing, bro. Like, it's just honestly is utterly disgusting and embarrassing, bro. Like, just to hear the stuff these are grown men, adults, just going with this nonsense. No anthropologist, no historian, no archaeologist will corroborate none of the stuff y'all be saying, bro. Like, can y'all please do primary source research before you make these crazy claims? It's real, and it's not even as individuals, y'all are not reflecting on yourselves. Y'all reflecting on us as a people, bro. Like, it's too much information readily available to be just spewing this nonsense that y'all be coming on here spewing. Like, when are we finna be adults, man?
That's
like,
right.
None of the stuff y'all are talking about, you can provide no mainstream. I don't even like the term. No reputable scholar will corroborate none of the stuff that y'all just claim. Anything. That whole Hebrews, the Negro stuff is nonsense, bro. Like, dude is just making up pseudo stories. It's mythology. It's real time mythology. And when it comes to all of this stuff, is just a reflection of the pathology that we have. These people done did a number on us, man, for real. Like, most of our people are honestly ashamed to be what we are, and we create these crazy stories. We create these crazy, just mythology tales, bro. Like, I don't know what it's gonna take to stop. Like, to be honest, bro, it seems like this is the mindset. This is the MO of the average person. Like, it's gotten to this point so bad. Like, it's rare that I actually hear somebody that has actual facts that are rooted in real history, archaeology, and science and genetics. Like, I don't know what's happened to our people, bro. So just honest, but it gotta stop. Like, there has to be something to organize to where the youth does not get infiltrated with this nonsense, bro. Because we're not gonna have any type of organization if this continues. But I'll let somebody else talk.
Wow, what an educated guy.
All right, let me go ahead, Bukinabe, go ahead.
No.
Greetings, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
How are you doing, brother Ngolo? It's been a minute.
What's up, brother?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to disagree with you, okay? But it's simply just based on things that I discovered, okay? So I'll start this way. I'll start with one discovery that I made, okay? There's one initial discovery that I found out about elementary, not all African countries. I'm not talking about all West African countries, but there's many West African countries that teach in elementary schools that most of them came from Sudan. All right. And this is the first discovery that I made. And when I discovered about this teaching in those elementary schools, but then I started wondering, how is it that they're teaching this to the kids? Because we all know that the colonial powers had like a certain influence on what they teach to those Africans, right? So yeah, now the colonial influence is there. But here's the thing. I found out that the colonial powers made sure for them to learn about this, but they made sure also not to tell them where those Sudanese came from, all right? So by researching and digging, then I found out, I fell on I discovered a scholar after the name of Thomas, okay? He's from the Congo. He made his conferences in French, but there are translations out there, you know? And another time, maybe if Dionysus allows it, another time I could bring his video and play it here for everybody to learn, right? So
are you talking about Theophile Obenga?
No, not Obenga. I'm talking about Thomas. In French, his name is Thomas, all right? But he's from the Congo. And but I know Obenga, and it's not Obenga. But yeah, so what I discovered with that guy, I actually spoke to the guy on the phone. I spoke to the guy on the phone actually, because I looked into his stuff and I contacted the guy. I was so impressed, right? So based on what I discovered in his teaching, right, is that the proper way to pronounce Sudan, right? The proper way to pronounce Sudan, because we all say Sudan, but the proper way to pronounce it is Soyuda, all right? Soyuda. Sure. Soyuda in ancient Hebrew, it means, so means land, and Yuda means like Yuda, like the ancestor Yuda, Judah, right?
Brother, that's pseudo. Sudan is Arabic. That's pseudo. That's pseudo nonsense.
Sudan was Nubia.
Su does not mean land.
Sudan is Sudan comes from Bilad out of Sudan. That's Arabic. It means land of the black.
But wait a minute, guys. Wait a minute. So just let me finish, and then you guys will correct me however you want. All right,
brother.
So wait a minute. Now, what happened is that apparently, based on this guy's research, like I told you, I can bring all his information to you if Dionysus allows me to play them, right? But yeah, he found out that the very first country that a group of people came from Israel created in Africa, right? The very first country was Sudan, all right? And the people who created this country initially came from Israel after year 55, okay? But then you see the current Sudan is very
you're
small.
saying, so hold on, so slow down. So you're saying that that's not true because Nubia ruled, the Nubians ruled Kemet, Egypt.
Let me finish first. Let me finish.
What are you talking about?
Let me finish first. So when
man, because
let me finish. Let me finish.
We can't.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
You gotta provide the sources, man.
Hold up, I'm talking.
Yeah,
But I want to understand you. So you're saying that the present day Sudan, that those people did not populate that area to the year 55. Is that what you're saying?
Not exactly. Let me finish, and you will understand what I'm trying to say. Is that you see the initial Sudan that was created back then, right? Was greater than the current Sudan.
Back when?
In year 55, all right? It was greater than the current Sudan. But then what happened is that the Great Sudan, it was actually 60% of the African continent. But then you see that Great Sudan was then split in two through colonization. So then they ended up with like the British Sudan and then the French Sudan, all right? And then what happens, because I'm telling you all of this, because all of this explained to me why some of those elementary schools in Africa teach to those kids that they came from Sudan. You get what I'm saying? So the colonizer taught them one part, but didn't teach them that other part that I'm telling you right now.
No, but okay, but again, Bikini Bay, I lost you on the year 55. So you said that the people in the Sudan came from Israel in the year 55. I'm trying to.
Yeah. So, but let me finish.
That's just not. It's not true, Bikini Bay. We got like Ngola says we got to stop with these fairy tales. We have
But
to
Dinus,
stop.
here's the thing.
I mean,
Dinus.
What
It's
ethnic group?
embarrassing.
What ethnic group
Okay,
are you?
but Dinus.
What ethnic
Dinus,
group? I'm
here's the
asking a
thing, though.
question. What ethnic group are you?
I have two ethnic groups. My mother is Mosi, and my father is Dagari.
Why can't you just be proud of the Mosi and the Dagar? Like, why we got to be Israeli?
But who told you that I wasn't proud? But let me finish though. There's one thing I wanted to tell you, Dinus, by the way, okay? Because you see, I have no problem proving.
It's not true, because those people in present day Sudan, when it was Nubia, conquered Egypt and ruled Egypt way before Jesus, even so-called Jesus, existed. So that's why your story is not true. In fact, the guy's name was Taharka, right? It was Taharka.
Yeah.
Okay, but Dinus, here's one thing I want to tell you. Here's one thing I want to tell you, Dinus, okay? Every single time I try to bring videos and play them here, you always refuse to do it, right? Last time I tried for like the slavery in the United States, and you rejected my offer, right? So I have no problem bringing videos.
Videos.
The thing is, are you going to play them?
Primary sources. Videos are not. That's not how you do academic research.
Angola, the primary sources say that the primary sources say that Nubians have been there for thousands of years before the year 55, and at one time they conquered Egypt and ruled Egypt. That's a
Sudan isn't the premise falls at his face, because Sudan is not even. It's an exonym. They don't call that place Sudan. That's nonsense. Sudan is Arabic.
Brother Angolo, it is no random video that I will be bringing, because I told you I had the guy on the phone.
That's not how you do. That's not academic. You need give me primary sources from reputable anthropologists and reputable historians and reputable archaeologists. I don't want to hear no YouTube video from no person that's just putting stuff up.
The guy he's an anthropologist. Exactly, he's an anthropologist. That's why I'm willing to tell you about him. Right?
You have to have multiple that corroborate. It's not just, and it has to be a reputable. That's not how you do historical research, brother.
Okay, so you think I'm gonna bring just a random bomb to you, like a video?
Based upon what you're postulating, yes.
Bikini Bay, your information is okay. Because, and the reason why I say that is because you would be discounting the work of John Henrik Clarke, the work of who's and guys, help me out, the Senegalese
Cheikh Anta Diop.
The work of Cheikh Anta Diop. Like, we're not going down that rabbit hole, bro. We don't have time for it. Like, we already have scholars that have established that. We got to pass the mic. Go ahead, Johnny.
Okay, so Dinus,
I got to pass the mic to Johnny. I'm passing the mic to Johnny.
I just have one question for you, Dinus, before passing on. Just one question. Okay, so are you telling me right now that it's a lie that many elementary schools in Africa teach that they came from Sudan? Is this what you're telling me right now?
Burkina Faso, quantify Africa, a continent of 54 countries. Quantify many.
In Burkina Faso, they teach in elementary school that they all came from Sudan. I'm telling you right now, I know it for a fact.
Man, you said Africa.
1 second. Burkina Faso.
Which elementary school?
Burkina Faso.
In elementary school,
look,
a lot of ethnic groups from the east.
Let me help him.
But
let me help him.
I gotta pass the mic to Johnny. I gotta pass the mic to Johnny. Go ahead, Johnny.
Very quick one, Dinus.
I'm passing the mic to Johnny. Go ahead, Johnny.
Okay, no problem.
All right, appreciate it. Dinus, I want to make a comment real quick, man. Just to remind people, like, when you do leave, and you leave somebody in charge, like, to moderate, they need to be respectful to the moderator and to the co-host that you have. I don't know if it got back to you, but it got a little bit disrespectful yesterday, and I know you don't appreciate that kind of stuff.
All right, yeah, I wasn't here, so yeah.
But yeah, as far as this topic, as we know it, I don't really. Everybody has different spiritual systems and different beliefs and stuff. And a lot of it, like, from the outside looking in, it's kind of easy to see the nonsense, I guess you will. But I realize that it's not really productive to try to change somebody's mind to explain to them why they're wrong. I haven't really found the right way to do it, but I understand that people kind of double down when you you know, they don't deal in a place of logic and stuff when it comes to some of these ideas that they're behind. I don't know what it would take to break these ideas and you know, then the certain beliefs, but it really is prevalent, and I do know that it's not really helpful to I don't know, like when you try to explain it to them, but if you kind of make them feel stupid at the same time, you won't get the desired effect. Something is just like does not compute there, you know, obviously. Uh, so I only care about unity overall as a Pan-African. I don't really delve into divisiveness, and that's what makes, you know, that's really where I have the problem with. So anybody could believe anything they believe, as far as I'm concerned, as long as they want to move for progression and they don't necessarily demonize other people in the diaspora. That's my personal belief on that. Personal beliefs are personal, and you know, we do have to embrace our differences. I'm not saying you got to appreciate nobody from those type of backgrounds and stuff, especially if they're not doing no type of work, or if they somehow try to put themselves as a pedestal on a pedestal above other diasporans, you know. But through the years, I met a lot of different people, obviously calling themselves Hebrew Israelites or Moors or ADOS, people in the D9, Nation of Islam, you know, Panthers, NFAC, whatever the case may be, whatever they want to label themselves as. But the majority of them are all moving towards the goal of progression and not really looking to put down other Black races and other Black people. If we can't think critical, which is the goal, but I know some people are just too far gone on that. At least see if you could challenge your beliefs that have to do so much on either ignorance. Understand what that actually means. We hear it all the time, but I don't think people really understand what true ignorance is, even after all this time. Like Flex was saying, you know, these are grown adults. You know, it is kind of rooted in some type of mental illness, some of these cases, but you know, other things could be the cause too. You know, parents on drugs and stuff, they could have been neglected and, you know, missed out on education as a kid for whatever reason. So they might not know how to necessarily think critical. And it leaves a lot of the problems that we have, but it makes it easier for divide and conquer. And that's like one of the biggest issues that I have with all of that. So, you know, I just recommend that we focus on the things that we can, and that we direct things in the right direction that's going to move towards prosperity and not just lose decorum when it comes to online and focusing on things that don't necessarily matter more than anything else. So, you know, that's the main thing. I'll just leave it at that. Just like, you know, we're here for a reason. Try to get to common ground or try to get to somewhere that makes sense and not just spew things that just go in circles or don't really lead to nowhere positive. You know, I don't really see the point of that. I don't get the appeal to those type of things. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
All right, go ahead, to Nigel.
Greetings, diners, and greetings to all the panelists, the chat, and the viewers. I think most people have spoken relatively well, and the last speaker tried to capture my reasoning on this. But I also see the merits of people trying to get others to have higher standards for what they claim to be true. Because it's actually important for us to have a sound process for ascertaining what is actually real and what is not, because that is the real world you are living in. The real world doesn't care about your methodologies if you don't get it right. If you get it wrong, it will penalize you. And I see the merit in arguing for that. And I also see the merit in saying, okay, allow people to do what they want to do as long as they are not trying to compromise the the greater good. Because I made the argument earlier on when I was here that I don't have any issue with FBA as long as they are not doing anything against the greater good. People are in different stages of their journeys, and but I also think that we should also encourage each other to ascertain truth and have a stronger process of ascertaining what is true. And there's another comment that was made earlier on about the Moors and what they did. And, some of our West African brothers, their history has gone way back. And the idea that the Moors, West Africans participated strongly in it was not necessarily accurate. However, the participation of West Africans with the Moors were done in a way to actually undermine many West African states, like that of the Ghana Empire. Some of our fellow brothers in Fututoro and I think it's the Takro Kingdom cooperated with the Almoravids to weaken the Ghana Empire. And maybe the pattern carries on since then. And they were one of the first states to become Islamized in West Africa. And that is a factual statement. And I think that is where I will try to leave it. People that want to believe in that they are Jews, clearly the information, anybody that is competent about ascertaining truths will feel like that is stupid conclusion to believe that they are Jewish. But we have to let them do what they are doing, as long as as long as they don't do anything against the community. I've had quite a few disturbing things that some I think Hebrew Israelites were partly responsible for assassinating some Black Americans. So I don't know how far that goes, and I've not really looked deep into that. But as long as they are not doing anything against the greater good, I think we should let them be. And if they don't want to listen to when you've tried to correct them, you can't force them. You see what I mean? Thank you.
All right, Jewish apologetics. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm an actual Jew. I think it's very clear that Black people are not the the actual Jews, based off the fact that first off, when the prophets compare, when they say that the Jews are very sinful, like the prophet Jeremiah says, just like a Cushi, which is an Ethiopian, that's the biblical term for an Ethiopian, can't change his skin color, so too your sins cannot change from to white, which is the term for being clean. So if why is he comparing him to Cushim? He should have just compared them to themselves. The Jews come from Shem. Shem is other nations such as the Arabs come from Shem. The Arabs are not black. The Edomites come from Shem. The Edomites weren't black. The Ludians come from Shem. The Ludians aren't black. But the people where we believe black people come from, which is Ham, people like Cush, which is Ethiopian.
Black people come from Shem and Ham.
No. Okay, hold on. Let me interject real quick. Babo, Liko, per your guys' Bible, you do. I don't come from no Shem or no Him. My people don't come from that. That's y'all. That's y'all. That's y'all. That is your doctrine. That's y'all. I don't come from no.
Yeah, it's all mythology. At the end of the day. None of this is true.
I'm saying according to his framework. So even according to his own internal framework, his religion is inconsistent. There is no descendant of Shem that you can point to that is white. Okay, but all the descendants of Ham are black, like Cush and Canaan. Also, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. A large amount of people that were all dispersed collectively came up with the lie that they descended from Jews. It's ridiculous to think that millions of people worldwide, conspired to come up with this ridiculous, LARP that they're really Jewish. It's to say that a mass conspiracy can happen with such a dispersed group of people is absolutely ridiculous. Black people should be proud of their own culture. They shouldn't try to steal another nation's culture. There are parts of Black culture which are beautiful. You should be very proud of it. Like I think a lot of the Black family cultures, how they discipline their kids is very good. There's a lot to be proud of. That you don't have to steal other people's culture.
Steal.
Nah, but I ain't gonna lie. Based upon your phonetics and how you're enunciating, you sound like one of them Ashkenazis. And if I'm being honest, okay, if you're not Ashkenazi or Sephardic, then you got a claim. But if you're Sephardic or not Ashkenazi, you're not no real Jew either.
Which kind of Jew are you?
Spain. I come from the Caucasus, man.
So you are Edomite.
That's a.
You are
I can
Edomite.
tell. I can tell by how you talking. You one of them 25%. You one of them 25% Levantine DNA people. Majority of your genome is probably European. It's West.
So what does that mean? So what is Ngolo? So what? So what?
That means that he's fake just like they are. Just like they are.
Anyway,
majority of the people majority of the quote unquote real Jews converted to Islam. They're in the Levant. That are the Syrians now, the Lebanese now.
But hold on, let me ask them a question.
Y'all are posers.
Hold on, let me ask them a question. You say you're the real Jews, right? It said I have 12 tribes. Which tribe? So white people are on the 12 tribes.
Nah, bro,
Lord.
you about to come with some pseudo stuff, bro.
Hey, Babaliko, both of y'all fake Jews, okay?
Yeah, both of y'all.
Both of y'all, you too, Babaliko. Y'all both fake Jews.
No, I'm not saying I'm a Jew.
Man, the 12 tribes.
But I believe that some of our people are Jews. That's what I'm saying. I don't believe that all of them. I believe some of them are Jews.
Let Jewish, I'll let you guys debate who the real Jew per your doctrine here in a minute. Go ahead, Jewish apologetics. You got 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds.
Yeah, sure. So as you know, the 10. I mean, I guess you don't know. You don't seem very educated. The 10 tribes of Israel were exiled in the Book of Kings. If you look at Isaiah, if you look at Isaiah 7, Isaiah 8, the 10 tribes are exiled. You look at name one tribe. I want you to do this. Don't judge this. Name one descent of Shem that's black.
So I'm not saying black people are.
I can answer that for you. No descendants of Shem are black.
Yeah, none of them. Nobody's postulating that. I'm saying you are not the people of the book. Majority of genome, just based on how you speaking. If you are willing to show your genetic breakdown, then I'll be staying corrected. But I can tell by how you're one of them 30% to 15%.
Yeah, you have to speak with a you can't speak proper English, and you have to speak with an American black accent in order to be Jewish. It says in the Bible, in the book of I Made It Up, that you have to speak like a black American to be Jewish.
Nah, bro. Ain't no made it up. We speaking about facts right now. I'm not speaking about your mythological fake book. I'm talking about facts. Show right now, if you I know you taking a DNA test because y'all all be doing that. Right now, for a primary source, upload your genome and we'll see how much your DNA really ties to the Levant and how much is really Western or Eastern European. I'm willing to bet money. I'm willing to bet money that 75 to I say 85 to 65% of your genome is Western and Eastern European.
I don't come from my family moved.
You're a fake Jew
from Turkey.
That's like, bro, you're a fake Jew like they are fake Jews, bro.
Okay,
like, come on.
Okay, so you're an unintelligent person. That's fine. You can use
I'll
rhetoric.
be that. You a fake Jew.
That you ain't Jewish, man. I can tell by the way you speaking that you ain't Jew. You fake, man.
Okay, get your goof asshole, man.
All right, let me pass the mic.
That was pretty good.
I gotta pass the mic. Pharaoh, go ahead, Pharaoh.
Yeah, peace. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Now, concerning the subject, that's why when it comes to this biblical identity, that's why I stick to the chronology of history, and sticking to the chronology destroys it all. And also when it comes to like words like Sudan and all that, I mean, and I don't agree that Sudan means Soyuta, but the problem with Sudan and Negro and all that is that it comes from the language of the slave masters. Okay, the Arabic. That's true. The Arabic comes from the Arabs, and the Arabs were enslaving the Africans in Africa during the trans-Saharan slave trade. True. So I don't see why you would even go to the language and to the text of the slave master to try to prove your identity, which is the Arabic and the English. So it is. That's why I don't believe in the language and the text of the slave master, and I will never accept that. And also, now when it comes to the Bible is an ancient text. Okay, the Old Testament and the New Testament it is an ancient text that originated in the Hebrew, and then after that it was written in the ancient Greek, way before it was translated into the Latin, into the English. Okay, but the problem is this ancient text, whether if you want to see it as true or not, this ancient text is not the text of Black Americans and West Africans. Okay, because
I agree. I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
I actually agree with you, Pharaoh. Go ahead.
yes, yeah. Like even if you want to, even if you see it as a truth, or even if you see it as a lie, it's not our truth and it's not our lie. It belongs to the people in the Levant and in that Middle Eastern region, from the Tigris Euphrates to the Brook of Egypt, which is Sinai. But yeah, that's who the ancient text belongs to, and we know that when we deal with the events written in the Old Testament, the end of the Old Testament ended in 430 BCE. The New Testament ended in the 1st century BCE. Okay, but here's the thing: after the Old Testament, the century right after the Old Testament and the century right after the New Testament, there are no other sources that connects to those books. So like the story of Israel ends in the Old Testament, and the story of Jesus Christ ends in the New Testament. So if you want to prove that your ancestors were the ancient Israelites, you have to show it in the text. You have to show it in the Bible, or you have to show it in the text that's contemporary with the Bible, that dates to the century right after the events ended. See, but that's not the case.
Why?
Because the Old Testament ended in 430 BCE.
Wait, why?
And there
Why
is
do you
no
have to do that?
yeah, and there is no source after that says anything about the Israelites after that.
That's not true.
Yeah, no, but what happened was these modern day writers of these modern day Hebrew Israelites and white Christians. Okay, what they did was they skipped over all these years, over 1,000 years of history up into the modern time, and came up with all and invented all this fake, fabricated pseudo history, and try to connect themselves to Israel and the Bible. But they did that, and they did it the wrong way. So I actually have a challenge for the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, if you want to prove to me that I'm an Israelite, that you're an Israelite, okay, show me an ancient text that says exactly what you are. Okay, you say you believe in the ancient text, you don't believe in the white man's English. You say you're Israelite, you say you come from West Africa. I want to see an ancient text that says Israelites were in West Africa. If you can show that, then you know, yeah. If you can show that, then yeah. If you can show that, then you're onto something. Okay, I can hear you out. But if you can't show an ancient text showing that the Israelites were there, then you can't even entertain being an Israelite, because you absolutely can't prove it. Okay, I don't want to see nothing written in English or written in the Arabic of some Jews in Sudan or some Jews in West Africa. I want to see a real, original, valid ancient text that says your ancestors, your ancient ancestors, not you. Okay, that places your ancient ancestors in the ancient text that says your ancient Israelite ancestors were in West Africa. It is simple as that. Okay, you have to prove it just like the Bible proved it. We know in the book of Exodus, chapter 1, it says the Israelites were in Egypt. The book of 2 Kings, chapter 18, 17, it said the Israelites were taken to Assyria. Okay, you have to show an ancient text that is contemporary with that says, that mentions your ancient ancestors, your ancient Israelite ancestors in West Africa. If you can't show that, then you have nothing. You can't prove. You ought to just leave it alone and let it go, because you cannot prove you're Israelite. That's my challenge. That's my challenge. Show me an ancient text.
By the way, an ancient text.
Our ancient ancestors in West Africa.
Josephus describes the Jews as white, by the way.
And that's my challenge. That's my challenge to any Hebrew Israelite.
Josephus Josephus describes the Jews as white, by the way. He describes them as golden.
It have no such thing as a white Jew, man. You make
okay,
make
you
that
can
up.
you can
make that up. You made that up.
They are other Levant, man. They not you, Babalico. Let it go, brother. You not no Jew. He ain't either, but you not definitely not no Jew.
I'm not saying I'm a Jew, but he ain't no Jew. Okay,
I do. My family has never.
I gotta pass the mic to Jog. Go ahead.
I want
Pharaoh, I gotta pass the mic. Go ahead.
Okay. Got it.
Thank you very much. Good evening from here to the panel, the comment section, and those listening. This, I must say, a couple of things, Dynast. I know that you don't believe that we can possibly be Jews. I do understand that. But you have to give those who have an understanding of this, their own understanding, maybe. You have to give them air. You can't just close them. Because what you've done, not just in this platform, not just on this show today, but I've heard you just close it. And people who want to speak openly, you don't allow them to speak. I think that's very unfair.
I allow them to speak. It's just, but
no, bro, don't. That's my viewpoint.
You're not gonna talk over me, Jagu.
No, it's not talk over you.
Jagu, the problem is now you carry yourself as an intellectual. When people
I'm such an animal, man.
When people are coming in with pseudo information, I mean,
as far as you're concerned, it's pseudo.
No,
but you're not the judge and jury. You're not the judge and jury.
But it is pseudo.
As far as you're concerned, but that's not everybody's belief. Okay, let me say what I got to say.
You can believe what you want. Like I used to believe in Santa Claus, Jagoon. I used to.
Yeah, that's no comparison.
And people used to entertain me, my mom,
comparison.
Hold on, Jagoon. Let me finish, Jagoon. Like I said, the night before Christmas, my mother, she'll let me put cookies and milk in the chimney, and then they would play along with it. Like some things I would try to play along with as much as possible.
No. It's okay. It's really
but at the end of the day, like he was trying to say, like the Nubian, this Nubian stuff, the year 55. No, that's not true. It's just
all right. Oh no, all right, bro. These are not the things I'm saying. I'm just pointing the finger at you, saying that you're not allowing people to speak because you don't believe. That's not fair. Full stop.
No, I let everybody speak. I'm just saying it's not true.
No, you close them down, bro. But let me say
primary sources though to corroborate.
No, my Ongolo, don't even get involved. Don't get involved. Yeah, because I know what you believe. It's okay.
No, it ain't no believe. I don't believe anything. I'll
okay, you don't believe nothing. Okay, you don't believe anything.
It's not about a belief.
Let me have my turn. Thank you. Now, guys, you see the subject. The for me, the discussion that we're having is a deep one. We're talking. If we remember ourselves and we understand time and we understand patterns, that's how I look at things. And I'm not here underlining anything in red. Yeah, I'm not here doing that. I'm here supposing. Now, there are many things going on in the world today. We can look at the history of Black Americans and seeing that during the years of the blues, all those people that were performing the blues at the time and making records, all of them had sleeves of white people on those blues albums. One, to say that these weren't Black people that were singing these songs, and two, just to get them out of the way and to endeavor to steal these people's originality, these people's ethnicity, these people's creativity. That's what the whole thing was about. Now that kind of thing has gone on in America for eons. It will go on today. The stealing from Black people, the stealing of Black identity has happened throughout history. Egypt in itself, they've told us that Egypt was about white people. They've told us this during my lifetime, during the lifetime of all of us. So for us to just throw this thing away that we're hearing about, I think that is shameful because we haven't looked into it, and because we think it's pseudo, we just let me finish, please. Please don't close.
Hold on, Jagoon. But again, you're missing the point, and this.
I'm not missing the point. I haven't finished yet.
You are missing the point, Jagoon.
As far as you're concerned, you're the judge and jury.
Jagoon, this is the difference between Kemet in Israel. Like Ngola was saying, we have scholars who went to Kemet and identified, did archaeological work, and proved that the early Egyptians were black.
Yeah.
There is nothing of that sort for Israel.
Okay, I've heard you now.
That's the point. But go ahead.
I've heard you. You know, please don't take too much of my time.
Go ahead.
I've heard you and I understand exactly what you're saying. But you and I both know that there was a big period when these scholars, such as Sheikh Anta Diop, had not arrived on the planet. Sheikh Anta Diop, by himself, 3 or 4 times, had to prove this thing before it was somewhat accepted. Somewhat. Now, this is that whole argument, that whole query is the depth of what we're talking about. Now, Egypt and the land that they presently call Israel are pretty close. However, I don't know if that's the correct geography. What I know in this world is that we have been fundamentally lied to. Fundamentally.
100%.
And we have no real understanding of our history. Now, what I'll say, 400 years in America as black people, 400 or 500 years, whatever it might be. Those who were originally there, God knows who they really were, Olmecs or whatever, they may have been black. I don't know. You know, we can query these things. There are so many things that we don't know. And then fundamentally, we will come here and talk about pseudo. Well, you don't know. You're pseudo is what I put to you. Now, I'll put it like
100%.
this. I'll put it like this. Because of I'm a Yoruba man. And in most West African cultures, we circumcise on the 8th day. I can guarantee and tell you that most of those bastard white people, I'm sorry to put it that way, but they're bastards in that they have stolen everything from us. Those people who are from Turkey, Ukraine, and all those mid-European enclaves, those people, they weren't natural Jews. They chose that because of the war between the East and the West.
Yes.
They had a choice whether to become Christian or Muslims.
Yes.
They chose neither. What they chose was they wanted to be Israel's.
Yes.
So when they became that is where the Israel white people come from. That's where all of them spread out from. So we understand that to be a flagrant lie. So once we've understood that, who are the real Jews? Who are they? Who's doing this? Who is doing the study to let us know before we just start saying, "Oh, that's pseudo"?
But
Oh,
John,
you, like
but
no,
This is
wait.
attested in history, though.
This
This is attested.
John,
Majority of the original Jews
hold on, guys.
converted to Islam.
Hold on, one mic, and then I gotta go pick up my son. After you're the moderator, Jagoon. That's the problem.
Okay.
These people. Okay, so Jagoon, you mentioned Sheikh Anta Diop. We have John Henry Clark. We have Amos Wilson. You have Leonard
Ben Joseph. Ben Joseph. He speaks about it.
Right, but the problem is these people who are claiming to be Jews now, the black ones, they refuse to go get a shovel and a pick and go dig, unlike everybody else. That's the problem.
Okay, that's fair enough. You have a problem with those personalities that propagate this matter, which is fair enough. I understand that. You know, when I first came across the Black Hebrew Israelites and listening to them and seeing their knowledge of the Bible and then seeing how they are twisting it in many ways and seeing also how they are making differences similar to FBA used to make between what is African and what is Israel. I think this is very much pseudo. You understand? But it doesn't mean that they don't have a point. It doesn't mean that the depth of knowledge can't be entertained. It doesn't mean that we can't research this. All I'm saying to the panel is that the examples that I've given of the blues and what goes on in America with stealing of the black entity's heritage, what goes on in Africa with the stealing of black wealth is the same thing that went on for Egypt in itself and telling us that Egypt is not African. So for us to just blanket and say, oh, this is bullshit or this is rubbish, I think that's poor. Why don't you go and do the research? You go and do it.
I have. That's why I came to the conclusions. The people that are making this stuff up insufficient methodology. They just make
Okay,
the stuff
give me this, because I'm not on anyone's side here. But give me this, Ngolo, since you know so much. We West Africans, largely, we are circumcised people, largely. And in the world, we are the most circumcised in the world. And we all circumcise on the 8th day of the boy's birth. This is what they write in the Bible as what is Israelite. Why does that take place? Can you tell me that?
It has nothing to do with anything in the
Can you
Bible.
tell me that? What do you mean it has nothing to do?
Okay, I'm going to tell you.
Did it have anything to do with anything, or did it just happen out of the sky?
Again. Hey, hold on. He asked me a question. I'm going to answer. That's just merely, I don't know nothing about the 8th day or anything. I know for a fact that in no place in Oyo, Ijebu, Eketi land, they never found no menorah. They've never found any Star of David archaeology.
They have. The Star of David has been there. That star, I don't know if it's the Star of David. Let me tell you, my friend, I'm a Yoruba person, so you can't tell me anything.
Direct me to a source.
Ungolo, you said it. You can't really tell me anything. Because that star that you speak about, I don't know if it's the Star of David or whatever it's called, yeah? But that star has been in our land for eons, before anything. So you're not answering me anything.
Can you direct me to any archaeological dig? Can you direct me to the archaeological dig that shows it?
You don't need an archaeological dig.
But this is what I'm talking about when it comes to methodology. That's nonsense.
Okay.
You can't just say it's always been in the culture.
Let me come back to you before you start. Let me come back. What I'm saying, next time that we're on this channel, yeah, I will bring a photograph of that star that is in Yoruba land and in Benin itself. Yes. And it's way before the white people came to us. Yes. Way before. You're saying things that you think that no white man has told me this.
But you blatantly skipped over the menorah too, though. You blatantly skipped over the menorah too. I said the menorah too.
Menorah fedora. I'm not here to prove to you anything. I'm just saying that we cannot castigate and call things pseudo when we have no knowledge of it. We don't know. You don't know. You don't know.
Don't keep saying we don't have knowledge of anything. That is a recipe for chaos. Because
what do we have knowledge of? What do we have knowledge of?
You've been talking.
I've been talking because it's my turn. I've been talking.
To Niger, let him land. Hang on. Jagun, you got 1 minute and tell her.
Look, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying.
Jagun, you got 1 minute.
All it is, Mr. Moderator, all it is, we cannot castigate when knowledge is still being unearthed. But we are castigating, and people like Ngolo pretending that they know everything and don't know anything. You know, he hasn't even left his bedroom, let alone the state, telling me about archaeological dig. Fuck off with your shit.
Bro, show us. That's all I'm asking is for you to show us to us.
You show us.
I'll show 5 sources.
No,
if I show 5 sources from reputable scholars, then you got to get off the panel.
Hold on, let me ask you a question.
Get off the panel.
All right, that's what I thought.
Let me finish what I'm saying, please.
That's what I thought, man.
Hold on,
Mr.
let me
Moderator.
ask you a question. Nogolo, you take
wait.
5 seconds. To tell her, then it's you next.
Okay.
Nogolo, now, a question, please.
Did you hear him? The guy just said something. Come on.
Respect the moderator.
Yes, please. Now, all I'm saying is that the only thing I'm saying, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself because I hate repetition, we cannot castigate when we're in a conversation. What we're having here, I think personally, that this is a very deep thing. It's not something to be thrown away. We're talking about 8,000 years of history, at least. And in that time, there's a lot to dig up. We haven't unearthed 6,000 years, 4,000 years, 2,000 years. If we understand what this kind of time that I'm speaking about is, then I think we all need a bit of humiliation in what we think we know. Thank you.
Okay, brilliant.
Please provide a source, though.
Truth teller. That's just on. Truth teller. To Niger. Truth teller is you next. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
I think
True
Africa,
Niger.
you're being facetious now. You're being facetious because I went
Nah,
after
Truth
the
Teller
flag.
hasn't went one time though, True
Lying.
Niger.
You said
He
I should
hasn't
be
went
allowed
once.
to intervene after Jagon finishes his speaking. Let me
All
just
right,
say let
guys.
me tell you what he's saying. Because
True
before
Niger,
you start
you come back.
saying
You cut True Niger. You will come
there are,
back. Just bear that in mind. True Teller, is your turn, please. Thank you.
but that is just a 30
No,
seconds
listen to him.
intervention.
Listen to him,
That's 30
please.
seconds.
True Niger,
You can't.
please.
This guy is
Please, True
maligning
Niger.
the whole
True
discussion.
Teller,
You are
True Teller,
stunting the
27 is your
in
turn.
Yo,
Africa.
True Teller,
You are
go ahead.
Okay.
Go
stunting it.
ahead, True Teller.
All right. All right.
You
All
want
right.
to
All
have
right.
what I
So,
do so that the whole point will be
uh,
escaped. Carry on. You are the moderator
all
after
right.
all.
Thank you. So, I've been listening to you guys, and it's very interesting. So, one thing I've come to learn, throughout the years, there's a saying people say that history repeats itself, and if
Indeed.
history repeats itself, then we have to ask ourselves, why is it that there are certain things which are considered not to be known or not to be understood if history repeats itself? That's number one.
Patterns.
That's number one. Number two, I feel like when it comes to this stuff like religion and everything, one of the important things I really think is location. Like location is everything. For example, when it even comes to the Americas, when it comes to this discussion, I know that Black people in America, they try to find, identity, which is a good thing. But don't you ever wonder why, for example, the Americas is called the New World? Like, if history repeats itself, and some guy or some white guy found America, like in, I don't know, 15, 14 something, and it means that before that time, America, nobody knew America, nobody went to America. This is why I say, like, Black history, Black people need to know their history, because if you study, now I don't have exact sources, but if you study like even history, Black people have been all around the world. There's documentation that Black people in West Africa, they've went to North America, South America. There's documentation that Black people, they've been in Asia before. So, like, why do we deny that all of these things there might be a possibility? Maybe it's true that all Black people come from Africa, but maybe there are Black people who migrated into other places in the world, and all of these things are connected in some shape or form. So that's all I have to say.
Change your battery.
People are so dumb.
Okay. Tonight you was Tonight you was gonna respond. You got one minute, Tonight. Yeah.
All right. Before you start ascertaining truths of things, there are references, multiple references to the same truth. If you have, like, say, the Romans write a whole history about encountering the Jews in the area that they call Palestine today, and they also encountered the Sudanic empire that they fought to a standstill. The idea is that you have to also go back and say, okay, what did the Greeks think? The Greeks will say the same thing, and the other groups around the world will say the same thing. They don't deny the existence of Black people in Africa, but they don't call them Jews because the Jews were encountered in the Palestinian areas. Or the people that say that they are Israelites, they were encountered in the Palestinian areas. If an African culture has certain resemblance to the Palestine culture today or the Jewish culture today, it doesn't mean that we are Israelites. It just means that we are older, and they may have copied us, just like many of the stories in the Bible come from the Sumerian and the stories and the Sumerian myths. So I don't understand how you can just
Well, it's not. How you have to answer. You have to answer within what you're saying.
No,
It's
yeah,
we in West Africa. Wait. It's important.
No.
We in West Africa. Wait, please. We in West
Jagun,
Africa
stop interrupting. Tonight you finish.
had to meet those people who copied from us.
Bro, let him
How did
finish,
we
man.
meet? How did we
Let the guy
meet?
finish.
What conclusion?
Jagun, let the man finish. Tonight you
how
finish.
you met, if they may come from you, even it doesn't necessarily mean you met them. They may originate from you, just like the Sumerians. After all, Abraham came from.
If they originated from us, they're us.
Okay.
They are not.
I mean, bro, you're not saying anything. You're not saying anything.
Hold on now.
You're not
Bro, you
saying
gotta let him
anything.
finish and show some decorum, bro.
What I'm saying.
I'll
See,
try.
you can decide to call them us, just like every human on earth can be said to be African.
No,
But
I'm
you
just following your
Bro, you don't
logic.
got to comment on every word he
Hold
makes.
on now.
I'm following his logic.
Hold on.
Look. He was just interjecting. Okay, that's fine. Look. I think Babaliko, go. It's your turn now. Thank you.
No, I
Thank you, man.
believe what Jagan was saying. He made a great point. I'm not saying with Jews or anything like that, but I believe like with all the tribes we have, I believe it had something called Israelites, or some maybe not Israelites, but it had something like that back then where they did wear fringes and do those things. And the white man took it. The white man took everything. He took everything.
Something because you have no evidence.
And make it into his own thing.
Talk without evidence. Are we knuckle draggers here? You can't believe
Tunaja,
sadly, we are, brother. We are, brother.
Tunaja, hold on, Tunaja. Let me make
you can't take
You guys speak for yourself.
Would you agree? Would you agree?
have zero evidence.
Tonight, yes.
This is sad, man. Really sad.
You're sad. Ugolo, you're sad.
No.
Let me. I'll be sad, bro. I'll be sad.
Man, you keep sad.
Before they divide up the African map, the whole African map, the land of Israel in
One mic.
The old map of Africa had a piece of land in it that said a land of this land of Israel. The old African map. So you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's also old
Cite the source. Cite the source.
No, Ngolo, leave it.
No, it
Africa. These people, bro, if y'all keep making these claims and references, bro, y'all need to start citing these sources.
Why don't you cite your source? Cite your source, Ngolo.
What claim am I making that's being
make your point.
All I'm saying is this. If the white men take Israel and they take Jews, then it must have to have some kind of black people with it because they keep everything. So it must have to have something.
This is not sound logic.
No, Ngolo, you need to stop interrupting. Guys, stop interrupting. Ngolo, make your point.
Bro, how are y'all letting this? Bro, we are grown men. Do you understand what you just said? You just said it has to be so.
Ngolo, you can interject.
Ngolo, stop being triggered, man.
Bro, this is embarrassing, bro.
You're embarrassing. You are embarrassing. Stop it.
Bro, let him talk, man.
Hold on, Ngolo, are you telling me to have no such thing as a Jew, to have no such thing as an Israelite? None of that.
There's no such thing as a black Israelite. No, that's fake. It's not true.
Nah, man,
as far as you're concerned.
A West African black Israelite is not true.
They fought. You can't say that.
Django said it.
Today, I don't understand how you can misconstrue that Israelites, even in their story in the Bible, they had wars with nations in the Middle East today.
Wait. Okay. Can I ask this question to the panel? Let me ask this question to the panel. Are we aware? Are we aware? Wait. Thank you.
Wait. Then Johnny, after that, will make a question, and Johnny, please. Thank you.
Okay. Well done. Now I'll put it to the panel. Africa and the so-called Middle East, as they're calling it, all the way to India. Are we aware of the demographic situation in that arena back in the days of Xerxes? If we know who Xerxes is, do we know the demographic? The major demographic? We don't know. No one knows. Nobody knows.
Let them answer the question. No, hang on. Do you know the demographic, guys? Anyone?
Yes, from India to Ethiopia.
They are the Iranians today. What are we going on about?
What do you mean by demographic?
You don't know, so you should have answered.
Well, the question is, what do you mean by demographic?
What I said. This is my question. From Africa to what we now call the Middle East, all the way to India. Yes. Are we aware of what demographic was living in that area first? The first.
When you say demographic and when you say first, okay.
Exactly. If they're all black people.
So what time are we talking about when we say first? You mean first originally?
Well, that's why I mentioned Xerxes. So
Xerxes, you talking? Okay, so Xerxes was around from the movie 300
No,
during
no,
the
no, no.
Battle
It
of
wasn't from the
Thermopylae.
movie. Forget the movie. I'm
Okay,
talking
from
about the reality.
from the reality of the Battle of Thermopylae, and you saying those are the first inhabitants
No,
of
no.
what,
The
of
Battle
Rome,
of
or
Xerxes. Xerxes was what we call today a Persian or an Iranian, a Persian from Iran. When
yeah,
they
so
had,
he's the
when
guy.
they
He
had,
was the emperor.
wait, let me land. I'm going
Okay,
to answer my own question.
Jacob, make it. You got
When,
one. You got 5 seconds. You
thank
got
you,
30
thank
seconds.
you, thank you. Give it to me. I'll take it. Thank you. Back in those days, that whole demographic was as we are, black people. And in there, it happened that they came down from the mountains and started to mix with those people. But the black people,
Yeah.
full stop. If you can take
Okay.
it from there, then to say that there's no black Israelites is stupidity. Simply.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
So
Johnny.
that
Johnny, is your turn. No, Babaliko, please. Johnny. And
Yeah, can I go next?
Man,
it's Johnny.
man. To be honest,
Johnny. No,
man,
it's
I don't know
Johnny.
what to say,
Johnny's turn.
bro.
Sorry,
I'm
Pharaoh.
speaking.
Oh, is
I'm
that Johnny?
speaking.
Sorry, my bad. Go on.
All right. Yeah, I don't know where to go with this, man. I'm gonna just say, even though I don't really understand, man, I'm trying to understand, bro, more than anything. I'm trying not to point fingers at people and blame anybody for anything. I think that even conversations like this that take place on a daily basis, man, it's important for progress because some issues still plague us. And to me, it's so easy to get caught up in these type of ideas and stuff and have we draw hard lines in the sand and there's no way to bring it back. You know what I mean? No disrespect, but some people on this panel that I'm not going to name out directly, but are older, right? And you would think that certain logic and reasoning and things might be in their DNA to how they come to conclusions, but obviously that's not necessarily the case. All right, a little bit of shade, but it's the truth, and I'll stand by it. We can't think critically necessarily, but we got to find some type of common ground, regardless. So I'm hoping that at the end of everything that everybody's saying, that we can find some type of common ground. All right.
Yeah.
The minds won't be changed, obviously, but because some people don't want to, right? But like through it all, we got to come to some type of like point where it's like, okay, agree to disagree, but also understand that maybe I don't have all the answers when it comes to why I believe what I believe or whatever the case. You know what I mean? But like, it's obvious. We all see it. You all see it. But like, let's try to find a common ground, man. At the very least, if you ain't going to change your mind.
Okay. Before I pass the mic, I've been patient. I skipped my turn so many times for you guys. I mean, I did from the beginning of the show. I spoke about the Niger group, which I still always come back to, right? Because we know in West Africa, people of the African descent, like West Africa in general, you can look at the Senegambia region, all the way West Central Africa, basically. The Niger Congo group, they actually, I don't even know why, I don't know why they call us Niger Congo. It's 1,000 language family group. Our DNA from the father side is H1B1 something, and then M2, and that's what shows in all our genetics. Most of the West African tribe, except the tribe that you find in northern Nigeria, like the Hausa and the Kanuris, they're more Afro-Asiatic. But other than that, if I'm not mistaken, Tunaja helped me a bit more because I refer many who done a lot of conversation and talk about these things deeper. They when it comes to those genetics, that's what we are as West African people. However, if you trace our lineage back from West Africa, we break off as a race. It's where that place called Southern Sudan. It's what they call it the Northwest Nile Valley because they know the Nile. The south of the Nile is what is the north. The north of the Nile is the south. Okay, that's where we break off with is it Kordofan or something? So we break off and came to where West Africa is today. But so some people may be right that of course, if we came from that region called Sudan, probably expanded towards the east. Because some people in the east, have will give you some stories that these are just stories, not genetically linked. That if you go back to Mesopotamia, there were black people that live around that region called, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and so on. Because the people that live there today, they're Caucasian. Okay, these people are not basically. If you look at Arab people, basically Arab people, what you see today, they're a mixture of race. They're not one race. So that might tell you something about that region called the Middle East, West Asia. If you look at them, they're slightly different to the Europeans, because they're more tan, more mixture. And then also, if you go to further to the east, they're different to the Chinese. So, there might be some kind of different differences over the years. But I believe West African people, wherever we came from, I think Niger Congo people are just one human race. Simple as that. And to what you're referring to Niger earlier about the Almoravid dynasty. I mean, the Ghana Empire was quite oppressive. I mean, Pharaoh was pointing out that earlier. It was quite oppressive. He had to go. Just because it's an African empire doesn't mean you have to stay. Because it's a trading empire that was involved heavily in trans. No, one second. No. Hold on. I did not interrupt you, to Niger. Remember the trans-Sahara slave trade. Okay, it was the worst crime in the African continent in our memory. We got written history about this. There are tribes in West Africa that still talk about it. Yeah, it was the best thing that ever happened. They oppressed so many tribes, they oppressed so many group of Africans, and so many got killed, so many got sent to the Sahara, to the Middle East as slaves. So it had to go. They were selling salt and gold, and the Ghana Empire were the same people who invited these people who called the Moors or Tuareg or whatever you call them into that region anyway, and they gave them home. So there wasn't a Muslim to begin with. It's later on they became Muslim and unified, and it had to get destroyed. Okay, so let's make certain things clear. But however,
no, hold on. You can't just make statement like that and just jump. Let me respond to what you just said. The Takro and the Fututoro. I may be getting that wrong. Where the
Takro kingdom.
Yeah. Takro is the first one, and they first Islamized before the Ghana Empire. And they eventually worked with the Almoravids, whom are the Babas and part of the group that also are the Moors that went to the
who conquered Spain.
Not that the Moors, not that the Fulanis did that. It was the Almoravids and the Babas of Spain and a few elite Arabs that went into this Spain and Europe. So, but
and the
when
head
it comes
of
to West Africa,
kingdom, the head of the Sakro kingdom.
When it comes to West Africa, that is the real point I want to make. When it comes to West Africa, that Takro kingdom that is made up of Fulanis and many Fulani full-based speakers. Also,
it's made of Fulani, Sere, and Soninke and Mandinka.
Hold on now. Also cooperated with the Almoravids against the Ghana Empire. Now, your argument is that Ghana is evil as an empire. But it doesn't negate the fact all empires are evil in a sense. But it doesn't negate the fact that as a group, the Takro collaborated with non-West Africans against West Africans.
Who told you there was non-West Africans?
Ghana Empire is Almoravids are not West Africans.
They were West Africans in Almoravid.
They are not West Africans. They are Babas from North Africa.
No, they not. You're mixing. So you think all Tuaregs are actually black? No.
Empire.
No all Tuaregs.
Empire is that of West Africa now.
No, not all Tuaregs were black. This is why you don't understand. If you don't understand the texture and the literature and the history of those, listen,
African.
The Almoravid were a mixture of West African and not West African. Yes, mixture. The Almoravid was very mixed. It wasn't. It was not West. Yeah, but they were dark-skinned Tuareg and light-skinned Tuareg and West Africans. So there were three groups in there.
But my point is that they were more.
Yeah, so you need to get that right.
No. They are closer to the Moors. They are not West Africans. They are closer to the
and
Moors.
Fulanis are the ones that are West African. Yes, and the
Come on,
Soninke and the head
work
of
with
the head of the
African.
yes,
That's what
the
you're
head
trying
of
to. Why are
the
you trying to avoid that? You know, it's a fact that you, the Takro, that are actually West African and
yes
E1B1A, like you just
kingdom.
described, cooperated
Yes,
with people that are not E1B1A against
yes,
E1B1A empire. You did.
yes,
So stop
yes,
pretending as if, and the pattern remains the same.
yes,
If you drag it from
absolutely.
there to what happened in
Yeah.
the Usman and Foju and all the rest. So why are we pretending as if that is not the truth?
See now. Oh God,
No, the pattern remains the same. I don't know why you pretending as if
no,
that is not.
you're okay.
Make a different
Let's not.
take.
Okay, you finish, because you
Only
was interrupting me
I'm
when I was
just trying
speaking.
to stress the point. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. It's fine. It's nice for us not to like trying to print narrative just to spew propaganda. It does help a lot. As I said to you, the Ghana Empire were aligned with this group of people. They invited them in. They worked with them, and the Ghana Empire, the first people to, if you want to bring the religious aspect of it, the first people to go. Don't take my word for this. The first people to accept Islam in West Africa wasn't the Fulani, the Soninke were the first. This is very renowned in the whole West African region. The Soninke were the first people who accepted Islam in West Africa. You can go to any single. You,
The nation that
no, no,
first
no,
came.
no, 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 no. Listen,
No, it's
listen to me. They are the first ethnic group and first group of people who accepted Islam in West Africa, and they're the one that built the Ghana Empire. Okay, and they're the one that was involved in selling millions of black people to the trans-Sahara slave trades. Okay, so you're saying you're happy, just because they're black people, you are happy for them to continue selling and pillaging and destruction of their own kind of people,
well,
to
hold on.
sell to the
Therefore,
Arabs. No, 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 hold
the
on, hold on.
best West
You're basically
African. I don't
agree
know why
with that. No, no,
trying
no,
to
no,
distort
no,
things.
you're not, no, 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 no,
Therefore,
no,
is
no,
the
no. You
best
can't do
West
that.
African
You can't.
become Islamized? Why are you saying is the Sunni? I don't know. Maybe Soninkes
No,
are part of
the,
the Tekor nation.
they
I'm
were part
telling
of
you that
the Kujabi, Kujabi.
Fulanis were
Listen, the
also part
Kujabi.
of it.
No, yes, yes. It was a mix. It was a mixture. The Kujabi was a warrior who was leading the Takuru at that time when the Islam take place. So he wasn't a pure Fulani. He was a Malik Dawdasi. He was a Soninke. I can name you the names and the
And the
district
Peter
and the
speakers,
time and the
the
history
Peter
and the
speakers
dates.
that
I
also
got,
went
I got,
on
yeah,
to do
exactly.
more. So, but you
But
know
they
this
went
is that
on.
why
No, hold
why
on,
you
hold on, hold on,
my
hold on,
problem is
hold
that
on,
you
hold on,
want
hold
to
on.
make
So when they
the bottom
tonight,
of your
why are you
group,
stopping? Why
and you
you
always
see? You see
argue
that this is a
agitated
problem when
as
you're
online.
losing.
I
You
don't
speak
like
over
that.
people.
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
next. I'm next.
okay.
I don't
Thank you, thank you,
when you
guys.
distort the
Can
issue.
now, guys? Can you see this? Can you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Now, when this Aaron Ravid so he's supporting African slaving Africans. That's fine. Okay, he's supporting that. And for just for the sake of religion. So because Africans are not, basically happy to slave other Africans, is fine. But
No,
the
hold on.
reality is,
What Tunisia is saying? Tunisia is saying the people they sell was different, right? That's what Tunisia
no,
is saying,
he was
right?
saying, no, Tunaja is saying that just because, no, Tunaja is saying just because the Ghana Empire was selling black slaves, it was right as long as they did not attempt to convert to another religion. Okay, sorry, I just wait my look on here. So yeah, basically, what he's trying to say is
What kind of
he's
stuff is that?
choosing
I
he's
never
choosing.
said any such thing.
No, but you
Are
just
you
said
just
okay.
making
Hold on,
stuff
hold on, hold on,
up?
hold on. Your logic is the
Wow.
Takuru kingdom was wrong, even though the Ghana Empire was involved in selling millions of black slaves to the Middle East. They was wrong in allying with the Moors to destroy the kingdom. Okay, and join
Okay,
Islam.
if that is the
Well, that's what
case,
you say. That's what you say. That's,
hold
that's what you're saying.
on,
But however, let me
let's
finish.
accept the
However,
presumption.
when the Takuru kingdom, wait, when the Takuru kingdom joined with the Moors, they did not continue or stayed in Africa to subjugate Africans. They crossed over to Spain. They went to Toledo. They went to Al Andalusia. Where they went to Spain. That's where they went and expand. This was the first kingdom in African history who went out of Africa instead of actually colonizing their own people. They went to Spain and Portugal. And they built alliance with those people, the Berber Tuareg and the Africans. For the first time, Africans were the colonizers of Europe. Can you get this? This guy is actually sitting here. I know your sentiment that you're trying to play, but it won't work. It won't work here tonight. You are saying, I mean, can you get this? We suffered from colonialism from the inside throughout history of Africa, and Tunisia is a Pan-African. For the first time, because of religion, he's saying it's wrong for an African group to ally with other groups to go into Europe and actually conquer and spread their religion and their science and technology and establish for the first time. Basically, that's what Tunisia is disagreeing with.
That is very telling.
You are. It's obvious. It's obvious.
That is very telling.
Bro,
because
let
it shows you
let
that. Hold
somebody
on,
else
hold
go,
on.
man.
Pharaoh, let me
We've
just.
been talking for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Pharaoh is your turn.
I don't know what Pharaoh guy is
I'll
all
pass the
about.
mic. Pharaoh, go on. Pharaoh, go on.
Now let me deal with this. This is childish.
No, Pharaoh, Tunisia is enough. Tunisia, enough. Pharaoh is your turn. Your turn.
And you don't allow me to respond. Pharaoh, you need to step down. Let me respond to what he just said.
Go ahead and make the point. Make the point.
Okay, Tunisia, you got 1 minute. You got 1 minute. You got 1 minute.
Let me respond. It's giving me 1 minute now. Mangle the idea of slave trade versus what the Fulani and the Fulani group did in West Africa. And you also exaggerated the participation of the Fulbe in the Moors. They barely even participated in the invasion of the Moors of Europe. They barely. And you're just distorting history. And that's what I don't like. You do that very much here. And you are also kind of pushing Islamic agenda here. The truth is that this Tekro group, where the
did anyone hear me pushing Islamic agenda here? Did anyone?
Let me finish. You had your say.
No, thank you. Listen to this guy.
Let me have my say. I never tried to justify what this in the Ghana Empire did. If you are trying to say the Tako decided to oppose the Ghana Empire because of slavery, did they stop it? They didn't stop it. When they become Islamized, the slave trade even went up. So stop pretending. And I really don't like this lie and you've never stopped. I don't know why you do this.
You're shouting.
It's okay. Let's move on. Let's move on now.
African history.
Right. 1 minute, brother.
Operator, organize the platform.
Pharaoh. I mean, guys, every one of you guys, go and
don't worry about defending yourself. We all heard.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jagun. Yeah, Pharaoh, go on next. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I just want to say, now, the teachings that Ngolo follow, I don't follow that. I used to be a part of that community. That's the conscious community, the Pan-African community. Those guys, a lot of them, they are scammers. They're anti-history, and they want to steal history from the originals and twist it, falsify it, and make it what they want to be. So I don't believe a lot of those guys. They believe in the white man's science. When he asks you for sources, when Ngolo asks you for sources, he's actually asking for some white man's validation. That's what he's asking for. Okay. Yeah. But I don't follow those guys, and a lot of their teachings are pseudo, it's late, it's modern. They're anti-history. Everything they say is anti-history from the titles and from, their beliefs. It's all anti-history, and that's why he's on here talking nonsense, asking everybody else for a source, but he can't show a source because the source he's going to show is some late 1800s or racist white source. Okay, now the question has to be asked is, okay, when people say that the white man lied about our history, okay, what is this history that the white man lied about? I can tell you now that the history that Ngolo believes in and the conscious community believes in, that history never existed. It did not exist during during ancient times before slavery. A lot of this stuff was invented after the English and after slavery. A lot of these DNA tests and all that. Okay, the first DNA study started in the 1800s. Okay, DNA is a late field of study. The study of DNA and genetics, it did not even exist. So for you to say that DNA debunks something is wrong, okay? Because history does not need DNA to speak for it. History can speak for itself, okay? Because history predates DNA, the DNA studies. History predates DNA studies by 2,000 years. Okay, but history before DNA studies and before all this modern, this fake fabricated modern way of telling history was told through ancient texts. Okay, you read an ancient text, you translate it, and that's how history was told. Okay, now when it comes to who are we, and speaking on the history that existed, that we did have a history that existed. Okay, but the history that these mainstream Negroes are telling you about, okay, these agents and these sellouts, okay, the history they're telling you did not exist. They're taking you out of the picture of history. They're taking you out of history. Okay, that's why I'm no longer a part of that community. I want nothing to do with it, and that's why I see myself as a real historian, and I follow nothing. I follow nothing they say, because they've been lying to our community for years and years. They've been scamming our people for years and years, and they took us out of history, and they are the reason why we're still on the bottom. Okay, now let's be fair here. Okay, some of you say that we're not the Israelites. Okay, let's be fair here. Okay, now we're not the Israelites. Okay, according to the history I follow. Okay, you're saying we're not the Israelites, we're not the people on the Mediterranean. Okay, so the question is, who are we? Okay, because I can tell you right now that these guys from the conscious community or from that Pan-African community, they're not going to tell you the truth. Okay, so when it comes to who are we have to start with geography. What is the geographical location of our ancestors in ancient antiquity? Okay, so we have to start with first, we come from West Africa. Okay, so we have to start west, because that's why I don't like that term West Africa, because West Africa, it can apply to Morocco, Algeria, but we have to start west. Who were the people in the extreme west, the furthest west? They were the Moors. Okay, but we know that the Moors are not our ancestors, because they live on the Mediterranean in the north. So from the Moors, we have to go south. Who were the people in the south? Okay, and when we look at the history, we find out that the people to the south, beyond the Sahara Desert, okay, because the Sahara Desert was uninhabited. So when it speaks of the people to the south of the Sahara Desert, it's talking about the people after the Sahara Desert to the south, which is the Niger River region. Okay, what did they call those people? They call those people Ethiopians. Okay, or Western Ethiopians. Okay,
you're correct.
Yeah. But according to these guys from this fake Pan-African conscious community, they say that we not the Ethiopians, we not the Egyptians, we not the we're none of that.
Pharaoh, some of the Ethiopians saying they are Jews. So
no, don't get Pharaoh wrong, please. Yeah. What he's saying, I think, is quite intelligent. If I may, very quickly.
But they are saying that some of them are going back to Israel.
But the Ethiopia that Pharaoh is talking about is not the country Ethiopia. What he's saying is reality. Please listen.
Okay. If you look at the map, one second.
Why are we messing up, man?
Yeah, I apologize. Well, if you look at the map of what he just said, he's making some sense in there, definitely. But I mean, he's right. The Moors actually.
No, I'm going next.
Sorry. They spread from northwestern Africa, where Mauritania is, to Morocco, all the way to the north and to the Iberian, like Spain, Portugal, and so on. So it's their territory that was different to West Africa.
You're right, Africa, but you're not saying the truth. Africa, you know that Ethiopians are saying they're Israelite, they're Jews too.
Africa, I don't even know why we.
I think you're taking the whole thing. I think you're taking away the whole thing from what Pharaoh is saying. I don't know
No,
why you
no,
disturbed
no.
him.
I know what he's saying. That's right. But if he
Well, why did you disturb him?
no, but if he's gonna claim that place and he say don't believe in Jews and Israel, he gotta claim those people who are saying
No, that's not the same. He's speaking about geography, and the geography that they used to write was that the whole of Africa largely was called Ethiopia, most especially West Africa. So what you're talking about, you're not listening. You see, I think that this is a serious discussion, a serious one, because it follows from yesterday's discussion, which I didn't entertain in terms of I wasn't. But I listened to it, and we were speaking about identity, and it was said by somebody that identity crisis doesn't end in America. This is what we're talking about. By the time we are now in Africa, by the time we are now speaking about Africa, we can see that Africans themselves have identity issues, and
I
this is what
I just got back. I gotta read these super chats. FBA Young Lion, thank you for 999. Holla. I don't believe in Abrahamic religions, but if I did, Niger Congo people are the descendants will fit the prophecies. Deuteronomy, Ezekiel 37, Zephaniah 3:10, more than these European imposters. FBA Young Lion, thank you for 499. Holla. The E haplogroup is indigenous to the Levant before the J haplogroup crawled from out of the Caucasus Mountains.
That's right.
FBA Young Lion, thank you for 499. Holla. Niger Congo people and their descendants scattered around the world are special, particular people, God's people. Guys, hit the like button again. Please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe again. Please hit that like button. All right, go ahead. Well, Invisible Man, go ahead, Invisible Man.
Hey, let me see if I'm on. Am I on? Okay. So I hadn't finished writing down what I thought, but getting back to the topic of the panel, I think the number of Black Americans who claim they're Hebrew or indigenous are very few. I mean, I don't think they've gotten any foothold into any major mainstream thought processes, and that even goes before the internet even came on into existence. I think when you left Dynast, I was loving the conversation because
Dynast wasn't there. How rude!
Stop being rude, Jackon. Stop being silly. You do that all the time.
No, I caught.
Shut up, my friend. No, sorry, not you.
Let man, stop.
Forefather who has no forefather.
Look, I caught the joke, and it was.
Thank you, sir.
But when someone claims they are a scholar on a subject and questions another person to show primary sources, I think that person who is challenging them to show primary sources should show their sources, and they should share their credentials or bona fides. All right, because I may have some differences with some of the Africans on the panels, but I will believe them before I believe an American person who only challenges others to prove themselves. Right, and so let me get back to what was going on as you left, Dynast, because I am intrigued by, and I'll use the one question, I believe it was Jagoon. I don't know if it was Jagoon or not, but they were given a history of the eighth day when males are circumcised.
That was me, sir.
Okay, and then he was challenged by Ngola, who didn't even know why that occurred, and that's a Christian practice. And when somebody says something like that, and that was going on in Western Africa within Jagoon's tribe, but it's sold to Americans as a Christianity thing with respect to that's the reason why, then I can't listen. I have to question when Ngola questions Jagoon on the history, and he's from there, and he knows that's going on, right?
Ngola is pseudo. He's not real. That's not his name. His name is
be respectful.
Patrick
Let
Fisher.
him finish, man. You got to chill.
Here's the thing that I was liking about the conversation. one of the things in my mind, I think I said about a week ago that Black Americans may have to go through a maturation process, because with me, I mean, I've gone through stages in my life, but I accept all of that of which I am. And I accept the fact that I come from Western African stock in a number of tribes. I accept the fact that I come from some European background. I accept the fact that I come from the enslaved and the slaver, right? And until Americans get to a point of acceptance, they're always going to be grasping on to these things that make them better than somebody else, instead of saying, this is who I am and I need to grow from here, which is Africa's point all the time. We need to grow. We need to forgive, because once you forgive, I tell you what, once you forgive, the burdens of yourself are relieved. And I say this to get back, and this is my last point on the history. If Africans could show, because I know through my research and that kind of thing, that the Africans had expertise in any number of fields, right? And if the Mali Empire was uncovered, if the Ghanaian Empire, I'm not talking about the current states, I'm talking about the empires going back.
Ouagadougou. We call it Ouagadougou.
Okay, Ouagadougou. If that could be shown, then Black Americans have something to grasp onto and be proud of. And I think that's what they may be trying to look for. But instead of not having these things to be proud of, they grasp onto all these other white and that Jew, that white Jew that came on here trying to espouse all of his stuff. They grasp onto him and what he has to say, instead of saying, look, Ouagadougou was this huge, beautiful empire.
Bingo, Invisible
Right?
Man, if I can interject. And that's what really confuses me. Like, what's the obsession with Israel? Like, we have West Africa, we have Ouagadougou, we have the Mali Empire, we have Oyo, we have just alone, like the just the Yoruba culture,
Benin
the way
Kingdom.
it is intact. Like, just that alone. Like, why are you so obsessed with being it's Israeli? It just doesn't. I don't get it.
I think
It's not obsession, but at least you tell me that you're confused, which is fair enough.
I think it goes back to what
No,
you
but
said
it's making
in
point
the
though,
very
Jaguar.
beginning.
I think he's right in the
I
level.
think it goes back to what you said in your intro. They're trying to grab onto something.
Dynasty.
But I look, I mean, I know that the people from what is now Sierra Leone were brought over to America because of their expertise in rice.
Right.
I know that there were people who were iron, I don't know what you call them, but the blacksmiths that came about. Do you know the Kentucky Derby was a black thing? Because of all of the blacksmiths, that expertise came from the continent. So
that's right.
I would just like to see that. I would like to see more things written, spoke about with the empires that I saw. Because then Black American, we can still be mad at you motherfuckers who sold us. All right, but we have something to be proud of, right?
Yeah, you're probably kind.
And just get over the fact. I mean, I've come to grip with the fact, we were conquered in some sense, but what we did in America, nobody has matched. That's all I have to say.
Let me actually.
Very interesting, Invisible Man.
I gotta pass the mic to Skywalker. Go ahead, Skywalker.
Okay, Dynasty. Can everybody hear me good?
Yes.
Yeah, you club, brother.
Okay. All right. I think the whole issue of this identity thing is obviously it's an education issue. And I say this all the time. Black people are viewing the world through a Eurocentric perspective. So naturally, they share all of the Eurocentric values and even the Eurocentric view of the world. I mean, because it doesn't even make sense for people to identify with characters in a book where snakes can talk and oceans can be divided. To do such a thing is to make yourself out of touch with reality. And so that's what we see. We see a lot of our people's heads in the weeds. And because their heads are all in the sky and in the weeds and looking at all this esoteric and mysticism, they can't deal with what's really facing them in the real world, in reality. And in reality, no dude's coming out of the sky to save you. No spaceship is going to land to save you. In reality, you have to confront the forces in this reality that are opposed to you head on. And a lot of these religious clerics and all of this stuff, especially the black ones. I mean, they're out of touch with reality. I mean, how can you come to me and because as soon as a snake utters a word in the Bible, everything after that must be taken symbolically, and there's nothing wrong with taking it symbolically. But what's wrong with what's wrong is when you look at it figuratively. I mean, what's wrong is when you look at it literally. When you say, hey, look, this stuff actually happened. And the European has such an understanding of rhetoric, since this is his language and the book is written in his language. He has such an understanding of a heightened understanding of rhetoric because he's in a advantageous position because we're using his language to communicate, such that he merges myth and reality, and this tends to confuse people who aren't grounded in reality. Like for instance, there's a place called London, right? Or in other words, Harry Potter, right? Harry Potter lives in London. There's an actual place called London, but no dude named Harry Potter ever existed. No place called Israel ever existed. The only place Israel didn't come onto the world stage until 1940 something. You see, and they just happened to name their country after a fictional land. There is no such language called Hebrew. Hebrew is a fictional language, just like the Elven language and Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. These are just people who are interpreting a fictional book in such a way that's caused us to feel like we're the people in the book. But if we look at the book symbolically, then it's actually more beneficial to us. If we say that, hey, look, our struggle is like these characters in the book called Hebrews, because in this book, this fictional group of people called the Hebrews was stolen from their land and went to go work somewhere else. And this actually happened to us in actual real life. Our people were taken from Africa and went to work somewhere else. But once you start to try to put yourself in a place, in a world where dragons exist and where snakes can talk, and when you can touch somebody and who's lame and he be able to walk again, you have got out of touch with reality. And what's most important now. Hold on, brother.
Sorry.
Hold on, brother.
No, when you finish, I beg
hold
your
on,
question.
brother. Can I finish? Can I land?
I apologize.
You can save your question and let me land.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah. All right, calm down.
And the problem with that is, see, you made me forget my point.
I beg your pardon.
God.
Yeah,
But
please stop doing that,
I'm
bro.
going
Please
next,
stop.
bro. Y'all
let me finish.
My bad, brother.
Let me finish my point. Okay, so once you, not only are you out of touch with reality, but most importantly, you cannot deal with the issues that are confronting you in the real world because you are so out of touch with reality. You're so dwelling on this mysticism and interpretation. There is no truth in the Bible. The only thing that you can get is interpretation. That's why you can read one verse and a million different preachers gonna interpret it different ways. And that's why when you get into these different arguments with these Hebrew Israelite brothers, they always got a different interpretation. Well, no, we're saying Zechariah so-and-so, so-and-so. This mean, no, when they say serpent, they don't.
Skywalker, your Obama phone. Hey, Wide Bay gifted 10 Search for Who memberships. Hey, okay. I don't know how that works. I know about my memberships, but I don't know how when you gift them, like, do you choose 10 people? Wide Bay 7037. I don't know how that works. But Wide Bay, I appreciate you. Thank you, my brother. We lost Skywalker. Skywalker's Obama phone. Yeah.
They
Is that
directly
the guy that
addressed
was
me.
just
Can I go
speaking? Is
next?
that the guy that was just speaking?
No, let N'Golo go because you guys did address N'Golo. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's itemized points. First of all, dude, that's invisible, man. I've been dropping primary sources the entire time in the back chat, so I don't know what you're talking about. It shows directly firsthand archaeologist digs. It says nothing in there about anything, any culture that mimics the Levant. It's uniquely in the West African corridor. Dude, whatever. I'm not even gonna call you Ms. Raheem, bro. You are confused, bro. Like you come on here and talk. What you just said about history is nonsense. Anybody methodologically, bro,
No, it's
that's
the
not
truth.
how you conduct historical research. First of all, you talking about Ethiopia. That's an exonym. Of course, it's gonna be on maps.
Can you speak
The
the Greek
people, the
language?
same
Can
Greeks.
you speak the
Can
Greek
you
language?
stop interrupting me?
Can you speak the
I didn't
language?
interrupt. I didn't come on here when you was talking, man.
You addressing me
I
though.
did not come on here when
You
you was
gotta
talking.
let
You
him.
said it was slick,
But
man.
hold on. What Mike Farrell? So when people were addressing N'Golo, he didn't say nothing. So don't interrupt him. Go ahead, N'Golo.
Yeah, so dude is pseudo and confused. Of course they're gonna label it Ethiopia. That's their term. The people in those areas that they're talking about south of the Sahara that they had never traveled to, of course. And when you look at the maps, it'd be cut off past that because they had no interaction with the people. The only people they had, you could say, the Oromo. That's not even our people. That's way east. But you're not going to find any quote unquote West African ethnicity that's going to call themselves Ethiopian. That's nonsense. Just because it's a attestation that you read in some Greek, supposedly that you read in Greek, because the only thing that you've ever said is the first four digits of the Greek alphabet, which I doubt you speak classical Greek at all. But anyways, back to the point what Jagun was saying, bro. Don't come on here and talk about my name, not N'Golo, bro. My name is N'Golo. I'm not confused like you trying to claim some Lamarudu, and I know my people directly
Who
come from,
spoke
bro.
about Lamarudu?
Like
Who spoke
Let
about
him
that?
finish, bro. Let him finish.
Don't let him
Let him
finish
finish what
for
he's
what?
saying, bro.
No,
Talking
let
shit.
him
Your new name is Angolo. That's your.
You not no Jew. All that stuff is fake. Y'all don't come from Bilal. Y'all are from that area where y'all come from, bro. Stop. Y'all need to be comfortable with who y'all are, man. Stop with the
What name did your
nonsense.
parents give you? You be comfortable with who you
Bro,
are.
let him finish.
My parents gave me N'Golo. That's the name they gave me.
Yeah, I bet.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about what it's good over here. You need to read. You need to stop. You need to stop coming on with the pseudo nonsense, bro.
What
Love who
pseudo
you
shit?
are.
What shit?
Stop
I
coming with
asked
the
questions. What
stop
I
coming with
did
the
was
pseudo
to ask
nonsense because
questions.
you
I
can't
didn't
prove, you
point any
can't
fingers.
empirically prove none
But
of the
of
stuff you
course,
be talking about.
you're
None of
vexed.
it.
You're in a vexed mood, so you're talking shit.
Nah,
But
it
it
ain't
doesn't
no
mean
vex
Bro,
anything.
y'all,
mood, bro.
You are in a
You up
vexed
there,
talking
bro.
mood.
about.
You a grown adult.
Let
You
And
N'Golo
you're a
finish.
young boy. Is that what you want to say?
you a
So
grown.
what?
You a
Talk.
grown adult up
Let the
here
man finish.
agreeing with idiots, bro. Like it's just nonsense.
You're
The stuff.
talking rubbish.
Black people are gonna get nowhere with y'all's methodology and y'all's outlook as
Black people
far
are
as
going to get everywhere with
when it
you.
comes to
Let's all
deciphering
listen to
information.
N'Golo.
Bro, stop
N'Golo knows
interrupting me,
everything.
bro. You grown as hell. Have some self-respect,
It
bro.
doesn't
Do you have
mean
no discipline?
Hold on.
Bro, you
One mic.
Let us respond.
Jagoon. He didn't interrupt you. Don't interrupt him,
Yeah,
Jagoon.
it's not
Go
that he
ahead,
didn't
N'Golo.
interrupt me, but he's talking rubbish about
bro,
me.
you were talking
Bro,
rubbish for like 30
y'all was doing
minutes.
it the whole time. I didn't say nothing.
N'Golo, hold on. This is the problem, Jagoon. Now, you think he's talking rubbish, but then when I call out the pseudoism of black people claiming to be the Hebrews, you say that's rubbish. So
No,
let this man finish.
why I said.
Let
All
him
right,
finish, man.
fair enough. I mean,
let this man
Let him
finish.
finish.
Yo, you don't just say nothing. Let the man finish. Go ahead, N'Golo.
no worries.
Dude cannot
Shit, we'll see.
substantiate none of these pseudo false claims that they made. Again, like I said, bro, if y'all are finna make these drastic claims and come up with these drastic theories, have drastic evidence. Toyin Falola is one of the highly attested, probably the most foremost highly attested quote unquote Yoruba scholars, bro. And all of this crap that y'all are talking about, nothing is in his book. He has the most comprehensive book about Yoruba culture that's highly attested in academic circles. There's none of it in there is about no menorah. Nothing in there is about no Star of David. Nothing in there is about no coming from. He dispels all of the pseudo stuff about Lamarudu and all of the Yoruba that want to be tied to Bilal, bro. He dispels all that nonsense, bro. Be who y'all are and be comfortable who y'all are, man. That's all I
I
gotta
don't know
say.
what you're saying, bro, but you're saying it in a very vexed mood.
Because y'all tried to
Laughable.
clown him for like 30 minutes when he was trying to make his point.
30
I want to
minutes.
get
I've
on.
not spoken for 30 minutes. Always
Shit, who
exaggerating.
believes that, man? Who believes that?
But
I do.
anyway, I want to comment on what you and Farrell was saying earlier, man. Y'all kind of came at us as a group saying that people are not teaching y'all the real
Sorry,
history.
you know, Dennis, I asked you a question because I knew I was going to get bited out. In terms of asking invisible, the last person who spoke, I wanted to ask him a question because he was speaking about realities and he was speaking about the Bible. And I just want to ask, is the planet Earth that we are living on not full of mystery? If it's
Oh
not
my
full of
God,
mystery,
man!
Jago,
Is
man,
this
you
Bro,
a
you a
motherfucker
no, I'm
grown
grown
asking
serious?
a
ass
ass man.
question.
man.
You
You a
come
grown
All
on,
ass
right,
come
all
man,
on,
right,
bro.
fair
man.
enough. You
Ja-
guys just think in the physical.
Jago,
Just think in the
Jago,
physical. Well done.
Jago, go be a Hebrew, man. Go be a Hebrew.
It's
I
too
mean,
ridiculous, man. It's too
Why is
come on,
it
ridiculous.
Jago.
ridiculous? I'm asking a serious
Because
question.
bro, I'm explaining. I'm
Of
explaining you
course, but
exactly why,
I don't
bro.
know what that has to do with Noah's Ark, Jagoon. Like,
No,
okay,
it's not.
Right.
are you trying to say
Stop that.
Noah's
Stop
Ark?
that.
Are you trying to
Stop
say
trying to
Noah's Ark?
think what I'm asking. Answer the
Well, yeah,
question. I'm
of
asking.
course the world is filled with mystery, but Noah's Ark is
Okay,
not
then
real, Jagoon.
why is it therefore if the
And then
world
you're
is full
not
of
Shem,
mystery?
and we're not Hamites,
Wait,
Jagoon.
why? Wait! Don't presume.
You know
Don't
how? I'm gonna
presume what
tell
I'm
you why,
saying.
bro.
And Mr. Forefather, who said that we should behave? You behave. You
Just like
behave. I'm speaking. I'm speaking, Forefather. Forefather, this is not your show. It's not your
Bro, it
show.
sounds like it's your show. All the talking you've been
Yeah,
doing.
well, that's good. Now, what I'm trying to say to you, if you'd allow me to speak, is if this world is indeed full of mystery, as we as human beings all understand, why can't we question what is mysterious, what is unknown, what is not clear? Why can't we ask these
I
questions?
can give you an answer, bro. You can question anything, but you got to be
Shut
willing to
up,
hear the.
Forefather. Shut your mouth.
based on facts, not
You
on
got to be
belief.
willing to.
What facts in your life has facts
Okay,
Oh, I
changed?
was going the same
Jago,
way.
listen. Hold on, guys. Hold on, Tunaj. Something's wrong with your mic. But Jagoon, if you want to be a Hebrew, that's okay. Be
I don't
Hebrew.
want to be a Hebrew. I'm asking
Yeah,
questions.
Okay,
you
if that's
damn
the
well do.
mystery, you want to be a Hebrew, hey, go be a
All right,
Hebrew.
fair enough, fair enough.
Listen,
Bro, you got.
Well,
hey, listen,
what I need from you, therefore, what I need from you, therefore, search for Uhuru. What I need from you is to allow people to speak their own mind, as opposed to when it interrupts your favor, you want to castigate them or shrink them or pseudo-fy them.
I'm not. All
That's
I'm saying
unfair.
is, if you want
As
to be a
a
Hebrew,
moderator, that
that's
is
fine.
bias. It's called
Bro, you
bias.
interrupt everybody every 3 seconds when
All
you
you
don't
do.
like
I
something
didn't
that
All
they
interrupt
you
say.
you.
do. Bro, you interrupt him like fucking 5 times.
I gotta pass the mic. Go ahead,
That's
Johnny.
the mic job with all these
All right,
pseudo facts.
appreciate it, man.
Go ahead,
So
Johnny.
what I wanted to say was, at first I was trying to hear this to see if it's a important conversation, but dude, so-called Pharaoh Mizraim kind of came at us trying to say that like what we're doing is harmful, or like I forgot the word he kept saying, but he's like we're taking things out of history and all this stuff by trying to ask people to bring up actual facts and think logically or critically about what they're saying or what they're doing. There's nothing wrong with that. When you get into like this make-believe nonsense type of pseudo land, that's more harmful than anything. You might feel good about it or whatever, but you're doing way more harm than good. Okay. He kind of made it personal going after Flex when he was talking about it earlier, but I'm trying to think, what specifically did he ask? What kind of questions is he bringing up that somebody's running from or not bringing up with actual facts? I'm not saying where you got to get the facts from, but you got to give some type of source. That's what he's asking for, to have a source, not just some shit you heard in a YouTube video with piano music playing in the background or whatever. You got to look at what actual facts is. That's what's most important. That's how you get to actual real conclusions. We can be able to look and study and see what's actually there. He's asking for peer-reviewed evidence and peer-reviewed claims to be brought up. So if you have somebody who's a PhD or whatever in a certain field, in order to get that, you have to have published work. So we want to see who you're talking about, to see how reputable they are. Okay, where they have as far as a background. Anybody can come with a background, yeah, but let's examine that information and come to our own conclusion. Instead of just taking a couple of words that you say and just mixing it up or whatever and trying to make it out to be like some type of sense. But it's not. It's not Eurocentric to even say something like that. But you got to deal in facts. You got to deal with actual evidence. And when you
Can I
come for
respond?
us, bro, you're going to have to speak to the actual facts or use actual examples of what you're saying with this whole scamming thing. Nobody's trying to sell anybody anything.
Can
They're
I
just making
respond?
sense and debunking the things that you're coming up with. And if it's that easy to do, then you got to read think about the choices you made in life that makes it so easy to debunk the claims that you're making. They fall apart when you're not sitting in front of somebody and them telling you this stuff without having nobody to challenge or correct the things that they're saying that's wrong. And when it falls apart in front of you, that's why y'all take it to heart. But the truth is, man, you got to look at this stuff critically yourself and come to these conclusions. It's good that when it comes here, you find out that it's not the sword, the mighty weapon that you thought it was. You found out it's a cardboard sword that you're coming out trying to attack with. But you got to do the research yourself to make sure you don't end up looking stupid at the end of the day. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. I want to respond. Okay, now, brother, you are talking to someone who has already done the research. I've been there and done that. I used to believe in the same things these guys believe in. Okay, but the only difference between me and them, I woke up and realized that it's all fake, it's all fabricated, and it's all made up modern day racist BS. Okay, that's
I forgot about
that's
that
what
part.
it is. Okay, now, listen. What I'm saying is, the history that Ngolo believes in is fake history. It's modern day.
What's fake about it, bro?
Yeah, and what history do I believe in? I'm like, what history do I believe
I
in?
forgot to get on him. I forgot to get on him about saying that about DNA too, bro. You think because DNA is modern that it doesn't exist? DNA has always existed. We just have a way to interpret it now.
Brother, I'll let you speak.
Yeah, but I forgot that point.
There is no. He doesn't believe in ancient texts. That's why he say that the people in the sub-Saharan Africa were not.
What are you talking about?
Okay, because
Let him finish.
No.
But he's describing something to me that's not true though. You can't do that, man. That's not true.
Racist, white supremacist ways of teachings. Okay.
What? No, wait. Hold up. What text do?
What ways of teaching is he talking about? Bro, you're gonna have to defend these claims, man. You're gonna have to defend them.
I'm talking Pharaoh. What do you be specific? When you say he doesn't believe in sub-Saharan Africa, what did he?
Yeah. Okay. Now the challenge I have for him is, okay, he say he's an African, right? Okay, and he says that so I'm asking him, can he show a text? Can he prove that he's an African? Can he prove his ancient African ancestors before the Atlantic slave trade? Can you go beyond the English? What? Can you go before the English to prove your ancient African ancestors?
He's from Senegal.
All your history is nothing ancient. Nothing is ancient about it. Bro, I've been there and done that. I used to.
Bro, what are you talking? Did you just hear the reply this man just had? Hold on,
Pharaoh.
Okay, so Flex, he asked you, how can you prove he's African, bro?
I'm talking Pharaoh. This sounds like prison.
Flex.
I'm lost. What is he? So he needs to know his ancestors before what?
Before slavery.
Why?
How do you want me to prove that? How do you want me to prove that?
Don't worry about proving it. It doesn't actually mean anything.
I'm asking him. I'm asking him how he wants me to prove it, so I can say whether I can or can't.
No, it's impossible. What he's talking about is an impossibility.
You can prove it. It's a lot of ways. So look.
I'm asking him what he's trying to say for proof. I'm trying to see what his methodology. What methodology would he accept?
Would you accept DNA? Would you accept records? What are you looking for?
Hold on, brother. Let me talk.
Family members.
I'm talking about the ancient texts before English. I'm talking about before all these late fabricated white man's.
From what age, bro?
Brother, I can't provide that. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. I cannot provide that.
As I said, I don't know why you guys.
Don't let him off the hook, bro. Don't let him off the hook. So how far?
I can give you primaries of my people group, but I don't have no uninterrupted attested line that's written down, brother. Like you know how impossible and improbable that task is.
What does that not prove? What does that
not prove? Retarded.
No. What I'm saying is there was a real history that existed before the fake nonsense you believe in today. That's what I'm saying.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you now. I'm gonna ask you to do the same thing. Validate through attested sources, primaries,
bro,
your direct line, tying back to the lands that you talk about. You use the term Egypt and Kemet.
I want to know what he's calling fake, bro.
Can you share my screen?
I want to know what you consider fake, bro. Can you explain that? Because you saying shit. Let
him show his source. Let him show his source.
Explain to us what's fake nonsense, just so we all are clear. Because you throwing these terms out, but then.
Look,
that is
Look, I mean, I
in
understand. Look,
English
I
and
understand
it's
where you're
not
coming from
translated.
because
It comes from
majority
English alone.
of
It is made up. It is
yeah.
imagination. It is fabricated. And
You
it's a lie.
sound like you're saying something, but
Look,
you're not saying nothing,
some of
bro.
Nah, he
sorry,
sounds retarded.
No, hold
Be
on,
nice, man.
hold on, guys. Be nice. I mean, some of us
Nah, it
in
ain't
West
no
Africa.
nice, bro. Dude, it's
No,
not no
Ngolo,
nice. You
chill,
gotta
You
be
chill,
got,
real,
brother.
chill,
bro.
chill.
Retarded. That's
No,
all you got. That's all you got. Is
Nah, bro,
slander.
that
Bro,
methodology
see,
is
answer the
okay.
question.
Let me
Bro,
use
he
the
don't got a
technical term.
methodology, but
Slow. It's
you got to
slow.
make
we need
sure
to
you.
learn. Some of us learn our history from different angles. Some of us learn our history from
It's not about
from
history,
different.
bro.
Nah, that's not what he's saying. What he's
What?
asking direct, it has nothing to do with what different language. He's asking for a uninterrupted, attested line with his primary source. He cannot provide what he's asking me to. Like, cause
Flex, I don't know why you triggered that
the
shit,
time
bro.
period that he's talking about, that he's gonna try to draw from.
Why you hung up on impossibilities? Let
I'm not.
Africa speak.
I want to see if y'all realize how crazy this man sounds
No,
right now.
we
Bro,
do.
he
We do.
does,
Just allow
but
it.
bro,
Just
the
allow it. It's
problem,
okay.
bro,
It's all right.
Flex.
You
The
know, it's
problem,
just
bro,
rubbish
is that
You can't speak
I don't know why
ancient
you
Greek.
guys aren't
You can't
able
speak
to
ancient Greek. All you speak is
understand
English. You don't know what
rubbish.
the hell you talk about, Ngolo. You don't know what you're talking about because you
bro,
can't
you
It's so
adapt the ancient
personal.
language.
All
Just
this is
show the
personal.
None of
source. Show the
Ethiopians
source,
Let's not get
bro. Show
personal.
the
Let's not get
source.
personal.
Show
It's
the
so
source.
personal, mate. It's rubbish. It's
Also, the
terrible.
source,
I
all
agree
you
with
have
that.
to do is
Let
share
him
the
share
screen.
his screen, man.
Flex, you gotta, bro, you gotta remember to keep the argument at the right point, bro, because you don't want to make it seem like he's actually making sense. And sometimes when
Not,
you like
but
lose,
Absolutely.
brother. Anybody who thinks that what he's asking makes sense is an idiot. So I don't
But
have
who
any.
thinks
bro,
that?
nah,
It's only
man,
you that
nah,
think that.
No, you
Asking him
can't
to
say
show
that,
his thing.
Angolo. You can't say that. You can't say that.
No, I
Let's
nah,
can
not
say
bro,
that. I can say
bro,
that for a
Flex,
fact.
Flex,
That's a
bro, man,
factual statement. Do you not understand the methodology that he just asked me to provide and how
bro,
nonsensical that
Allow
is?
it. Stop
you
crying.
gotta show the nonsense, bro. Like some people won't understand. They don't really get things like they were saying. They're different cultures and they don't really have the same understanding necessarily. You got to
you
bring
see
it
the
to the
thing is
point
like
to the questions that
Ngolo,
he can't
like
answer.
me,
You
we
gotta
have
hit him with the
oral.
logic that he
Sorry.
cannot answer.
Like me, most of the things I say, we have oral and written history, and not a lot of
That's
group of
fine.
people in Africa that have that. I say, and when I speak here, most of the time, I actually read most of it. 90% of what I say when it comes to history, I read it. And the reason why we're able to do that because we have ancient textbooks that we manage to write in our own languages. Okay, it
Nah,
was
but
written
brother,
in
the
different.
time he's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
the time period you're talking about. He's not gonna classify that as ancient.
Yeah, but we can't stick on him with what he's
Because
saying.
From the seventh
his
century,
baseline of
There have
ancient
been
from seventh
is
more
Egypt.
century.
important.
Is Egypt
There
and
have been
classical
more
Greek.
Bro, Flex, you're
important.
giving him too
You're
much
not going to
credit,
provide
man.
a source. You're not going to provide any written source within the area that you're from past
So
before the
Flex,
7th
so
century.
Flex, so
If
The thing
Flex,
is,
bro,
panel. The thing is,
when you
From
there
the
have
Flex,
been
seventh
much
century
more.
down, we have written history. Right?
no, but
bro, Flex,
No,
again,
when you asking him for
he's
things, bro, you gotta the way you're phrasing it is like instead of just asking him for the source, you could just get specifics where he's getting it from, and then you can pick that apart. But
No, but
he's not when
sometimes
he,
you see, this word pseudo, it's a real
bro.
word. I like it or I don't like it. However, I think we can distinguish quickly.
No, bro, you're in the
Somebody,
same camp.
wait. You put me where you want. It's up to you. Um, we can distinguish. His question was a fair question. It doesn't even formulate a question. So why we are hanging up on it, I don't know. We just
no,
like
I
to
was trying
argue.
to illustrate. I was trying to get him
No,
to show
I
the
think
source
you
to
like
illustrate how
personal argument.
nonsensical he was. Then when he
No,
provided the source, I
we
was
know
going to
it's nonsense,
dispel
bro.
it.
Wait, we know it's nonsense.
Is he
You don't have to.
gonna
We
put
know
something on
it.
the screen?
Yeah,
No.
that's what I'm
I
waiting
mean,
for.
do that. What for? What for? Based on what he said.
Bro,
You know,
my thing is his thing that got me was when he was making these claims about fake history or like, he didn't want to get into specifics because he knows it's going to fall apart. But that's what I want to hear. I want to hear what his problem with DNA.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, man. I
I
want
tell
to hear
you,
you actually
this
start making
because
claims so we can pick them
everybody.
apart.
Brother,
Okay, wait. If I may,
brother,
go for it.
Well, actually, Vero, you got Pharaoh. You got 30 seconds.
You got
to
the
pass
floor,
the
man.
V. And you got past the V. Go ahead, Pharaoh.
Yeah,
You got
yeah.
30 seconds.
Pass the V.
Yeah. Yo, okay. Now, what I'm saying to you is you're out of touch with reality and you're out of touch with time. Okay. Once
Okay.
upon a time, okay, DNA, the field of DNA, English, all it did not exist, brother.
DNA didn't
only
exist once
history
upon a
was
time.
being told. Oh, history was only being told through ancient texts. So how you
Okay,
gonna say that?
so
So what if
today
there?
matters?
Do you believe?
But
How about new
let him finish,
discovery?
bro. Let him
hold on,
finish.
brother. I'm trying to finish. Hold on. But okay. But you trying to say that what the people wrote about 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, didn't matter, and they were dumb, and they didn't know their own time because of all this fake modern day fabricated ways of teachings. You think you know better than the ancients? These Negroes are scammers. They trying to act like they was there 1,000 years ago, and they were not.
Okay.
This is a straw man.
No,
This is a
hold
straw man
on.
fallacy. This is a complete straw
Let
man.
him finish, bro. Let him finish.
Guys, I gotta pass the mic. Go ahead, V.
Pass the
All right, you
mic,
done?
please, because
Go
these
ahead,
guys
V.
are just loving
All
this
right,
rubbish.
so let me start. Let me start with this, bro.
No. I said
So
V.
when
I said V.
anything written down in ancient times
V.
is
I gotta
considered
pass the
facts.
mic to V.
So there's no such thing as
I
myths or
gotta pass
novels,
the
and
mic.
stuff
Why
like
are you
that.
talking
Stories.
over me? Why are you talking over? I gotta pass the mic to V. Go ahead, V.
Yo, hello guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Dan is here. Um, I mean, we always talking and go around and come back to this religious and how some of us don't want to accept who we are and we claim to be anything else but who we are. With regards to this ancient African traditions and customs, the reason why many of our ancestors accepted these religions when it was brought to us, because a lot of the practices that they do, we were doing them. The circumcision, naming a child on the seventh day, and so forth and so on. We did many of those. I mean, sometimes I look at the Jewish practices and I see we do similar thing. I wouldn't say the same, but similar in my traditions and customs in West Africa. And our tradition and custom is older, far older than theirs. But we disregard our own and accept everybody else's. And I think ours is pseudo or juju or whatever it is that they call it. I mean, like walking around a black box in a white garment. We do that in Ghana. In our kind tradition, we do it. It's usually by the chief priest and the priestess and so forth. But we don't appreciate anything that we have and seems to accept everybody else's own and throw ours away. That, like, it doesn't matter. A lot of these things, the reason why our ancestors even accepted these religions was there was a lot of things that they recognized that we were doing. It aligned with their way of doing things. That's why they accepted them. But we really need to go back and accept who we are and forget about all these things that we're trying to call ourselves. Sometimes you look at it and it's a bit, sometimes I find it very sad that we can't accept who we are and try to do better. But to trying to get away from it and we are this and that, And also with regards to empires that were in West Africa, and I heard I think Africa said that to the old Wagadu Empire, which is often referred to as the Ghana Empire, but in the actual empire was called the Wagadu Empire, and it was the rulers of this empire that were called Ghana, Ghana
Yes,
or
that's right.
something like that. Yeah.
Ghana, yeah. Ouagadougou.
We were talking about it was barbaric, and somebody like Julius Caesar, which is highly revered in the European, what do we call the European? God, I've got a word. It might come to me. In their classics and everything that they revere. Some Julius Caesar, it's estimated he killed about almost 1 million people. Everywhere he went, and he was waging a lot of wars against within within Europe.
Outside his territory, not inside.
Well, where they come and they conquer you, they claim that your territory belongs to them.
Yeah,
So
outside, yeah,
no,
not
no,
inside.
no, that's
But
not
that
the
was
point.
during a
That's the point
specific
I'm
time
trying to
though
make.
too, bro. It wasn't the entire time of the Ouagadougou
Sorry,
Empire
man.
that was going on either, brother.
No,
So
no,
don't
but I don't
mischaracterize
even
it.
think the Ouagadougou, you know, Africa, we try to sort of castigate ourselves and so we were so barbaric. I love the things that somebody like Alexandra, who's the Macedonian guy, who's also highly revered, he was just as barbaric. You know, if you go, it's like they come to you, they conquer you, and it's either you accept their way of things or you be dead. You can either accept it or choose them, and they'll kill you. They used to massacre women and children for nothing, for sport. So to say that, oh, the Ouagadougou Empire was so barbaric, that's why our own people could connive with those the people coming from the north to destroy it. It's not right. You have to look at history in its proper context and say, well, this is what happened then. Why they did it, nobody knows, because we can only read a text or a little bit of evidence, archaeological evidence that we will find that will tell us why their mindset was like that. We don't know, but we need to learn. I mean, it's good to learn history because people that do not learn history carry on to repeat the mistakes again.
Do you also agree some? Sorry, V, do you also agree some empire have to fall for another empire to rise?
Well, I mean, empires always do fall, and some
Thank
will
you.
rise.
That's
Yeah.
the first. Well, that's the answer. The answer to that is the Ouagadougou have to fall for the Mali to rise. That's exactly what happened.
Well, fair enough.
Okay. And
that is
the people that
what
destroyed the
happened.
Ouagadougou are the same people who built the Mali Empire.
Yeah, the Mali Empire was built
Okay.
mainly by the Mandinkas, wasn't it? You know, and there
Yeah,
were
but
also
I mean, it's really a continuation, though. Really, if you're
yeah,
being
thank
technical.
you. They're the same people that did. These are the same group of people who destroyed the Ouagadougou. Kromanta
Yeah.
Kante. He the one that
And
expressed Buketa Keita.
to be fair to the history, the empire was already
Hang on. Yeah, it was already done. It was at the end of it.
it
Done.
was already dissipated by the time the Almoravids and the Tukalors came together.
That's
So
not the point. That
Yeah,
is not
thank
the
you,
point
thank
I'm
you. I don't know what
making.
wait.
No,
It
no,
was
I'm the one
listen. Right.
talking. Don't tell me wait.
I am
I'm
okay.
the one talking.
Okay, V. All right. Am I bad? I
Bro, let her
apologize.
finish, man.
I give you the mic.
Yeah, let her finish.
What I'm saying, I'm not talking about what came after or why they did it, but I'm just pointing the fact that we keep castigating ourselves. It's we were so barbaric. But if you look in history, all empires were barbaric, and even the current one going on is barbaric. America. Okay, so it's a mindset of the human being. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but we should stop castigating ourselves. You know, the reason why this happen is because I mean the reason why sometimes some people used to raid other communities to sell them into slavery was because of their troublesome tribe. Let's go and raid them. And that's how we do. This is what we did, and we're still doing it today. This tribe is I don't get along with what. Let's take arms and go and fight them. You know, so we need to stop castigating ourselves. We were no more barbaric than the other people. They say, you know, America threw 2 nuclear bombs on Japan, right? Don't you think that's barbaric? But you say that, what our ancestors did, they were worshipping this and that because of that they were barbaric. But then we adopt other religions that also, if you look at the history of those religions, they were just as barbaric. So
no, they were worse. It's not even when you look at historically, when you juxtapose the quote unquote empires that we're talking about compared to empires in other areas, barbarism is not this. It's nowhere near the same that what they're trying to compare to.
Way past. Way past.
They were horrible. Ours is not bad compared to theirs.
If you look at somebody like Genghis Khan and the kind of mayhem that he caused, I mean, what we did in Africa it's nothing. You know, so we really should stop castigating ourselves, and this is something that is sort of it's in us. That's why a lot of people don't want to accept who they are. Today, I was looking at somebody was talking about what was going on in Sudan, and he's a Sudanese himself, and he was explaining the fighting and why, and the reason why they're fighting is because the so-called Africans that they believe they are Arabs, are fighting the Africans that they've been there for God knows how long, but they call them slaves because the African is, because our mind is so twisted that you live on your own ancestral land, somebody come and invade you, conquer you, or whatever it is, and you live with them for years, and they tell you you're a slave, you're a slave, you're a slave, and you accept it, right? And he was saying that those Arabs that actually attacking those African tribes, the ones they claiming the Arab, he said they just riffraff, they're rubbish, they have nothing on the land they live on. But those ones, the ones that live on the other side of the lands that like what's the place, the Darfur and the middle, the central belt, that they are attacking them severely, they have a lot of wealth on their land. And those people, Africans that they believe they're Arabs, have been helped and aided by people coming from the Middle East. And this is what we Africans are doing. So the same thing's going on with the Sahelians. And people say, oh, the Sahelians should stop. The Sahelians, I pray every day that they should crush these people to the pulp if they don't stop the fight. Because if you do not do that and show people that, enough is enough, they'll be continuously doing it to us. And they come in, okay, let's say, for instance, they manage to overcome the Sahelians, people will push down south. And the southern part of West Africa is already overcrowded. You're going to have more conflicts down there. So I'm praying that the Sahelians crush those idiots up there, that they don't know who they are, they can't accept who they are. And if they cannot live with us and they think they're Arab, they should bugger off and go back to the Arabian Peninsula. We don't need them in Africa there. That's all I would say.
Okay, I mean, I hear you. I agree to most of your points. We should stop, castigating ourselves. I agree. As I said to you, we were part of the Ghana Empire. We were subjugated. Oppressed for a long time. The Fula, the Mandinka, the Kujabis. Most namely, all these West African groups were actually oppressed, and a lot of the people were captured. Millions of slaves died in the Trans-Sahara. Being sold to the Arabs. I mean, if that's not bad enough, it was actually so bad. The transatlantic slavery looked like a like a pond in the sea. If that wasn't deep, yeah. But it was at the end of the empire anyway. But one thing that we agree, sometimes some empires have to fall down for another empire to grow. And what came after the so-called Ghana Empire, it was two events. One was the invasion of the Almoravid, where basically we have to expand instead of having to stay in Africa and continue the same practice. We have to go. Basically, we have to expand to Europe, where Toledo is today, like in Al Andalusia. And after that, it was the Mali Empire. So the Mali Empire rose, and it became even more bigger than.
Brother, but how you're framing it that's not accurate though, because if you're talking about the trade, it augmented after the fall of Ouagadougou, like exponentially.
What's that?
And
It destabilized the area for real. Like
most of their trade.
Yeah, but the Mali Empire did.
No, it did. But really when they reestablished the trade routes during Mali, the trade of people went up exponentially after that.
It went up.
Yeah, because
look,
Krumanta Kante. Hold on, Krumanta. So I'll finish. Good. I'll finish to my. I'll pass it on. Krumanta Kante expelled, somebody and his entire, subjugate the entire ethnic group. Who was Sunjata Keita? Now Sunjata Keita have to go to an exile for a long time and find allies to come back and actually, seek vengeance to actually build something new from the dust. So, this is what happened.
Yeah, but that was a hereditary dispute, though. That was Samantha Conte was his brother, though.
You guys have been you see, Africa, what you do is you start talking about an empire, then you talk about human rights issues and oppression and all those things. This is common to all empires. Don't bother about that part. You have to talk about the nature of the empire. What you are doing now is trying to say that the Ghana Empire was like a slave trading empire, while in reality, most of their trade is based on gold. However, they did trade slaves, that's for sure. They did trade slaves. But compared to the one that came after, like the earlier speaker said, the earlier speaker was mostly not gold, it was mostly slaves. And the West African and Central African slave trade was mostly slave trade. Wasn't gold or natural resources. It was human beings they were mostly selling. That's what makes them different. And they are all based on most of these Abrahamic religions. So the Ghana Empire that is not even based on Abrahamic religion traded less slaves than the ones that are based on Abrahamic
Who
religion.
told you that? Who told you that? Who told you that?
That's the fact of history. That's
No,
the
it's not
fact of
true.
history.
It's not true. It's not
No,
true.
that is true, brother. That is
No,
true.
it's not true. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. To say the Ghana Empire sold less slave than the Mali Empire.
Ouagadougou sold less, brother. The trade routes weren't even that well established during that time.
The Mali Empire
It was a longer period. It was a much longer period.
The Mali Empire did not sell more slave than Ghana Empire. I disagree with that.
No, they augmented it. As far as you can't, you're not going to be able to itemize it literally. But if you're talking about the volume according to the records, I mean, the further
volume,
you go,
I'm talking about the volume and the time.
What you have to talk about, I tell you what you have to talk about is where those slaves were going. They were going to wait. They were going to the so-called Middle East. So to characterize it, to characterize it as a Abrahamic kind of situation is more accurate than what you're saying, because the Islam was growing at the time and growing quite rapidly in Africa. And what they were doing was taking people away and enslaving them. And the Mali Empire was much longer than the Ghana Empire. So it kind of stands to reason that they would have trafficked more slaves. I don't know why you're defending that. Why?
Who told you the Mali Empire was longer than the Ghana?
I read it.
Like,
what do you mean you told me?
Ouagadou's like from 6th century to what, 12?
And the Mali?
Yeah, I don't think the
Ghana Empire outlasted him.
the Ghana was way longer than the.
You know what? I'm not going to argue, and I'm tired. I am tired. I got a headache.
All right, see you later. See you later, bro.
It's good when you're talking about things like that. You read what you're talking about, not just talking about it based on some, I don't know, some.
I'll provide sources again. I'll put the sources in the back.
I think Africa, you should have checked that the Ghana Empire traded more in slaves than traded more in gold than in slaves. That is the fact of the situation.
It was source and gold. To Niger, I agree. I agree. It was based on sales and gold. No, but to Niger, wait. I did not say it's just slaves, but they traded most of these slaves that went to the Trans-Sahara. Okay, came from the Ghana Empire, not the Mali Empire. Okay, thank you. That was the point.
No. Actually, they were during their time. They traded more slaves than other kingdoms. That's true. But when the Mali Empire came and the Songhai Empire, they scaled it up. Come on,
yeah, they did. That's facts. That's that you can't dispute that.
That's the way I understand it.
And yeah, the Ouagadougou Empire was way longer than the Soninke. I mean, not Soninke. Way longer than the Songhai and the Mali.
Okay, I can accept that.
It was from the 7th century to the early 11th, and then theirs was from the 12th to the 13th.
Very good. The thing is now, the discussion on I think generally the progression of slaves would have continued because it was going to one place at the end of the day, going to one region, and I think it was religious. At the end of the day.
No, if I may, the Mali Empire also, majority of the slaves during the Mali Empire, they were within the continent. They wasn't really slaves. They was more like servants and caste system. It wasn't like people who were captured and sold outside the continent or in any form.
I think that's more what went on.
It was always like that though. Within. But the people that got sold that got sold in the Trans-Saharan, they went to the Middle East and they wasn't until you heard from again.
Yeah, the Ghana went
it was more in Mali, like the brother said. The trade routes were more established during Mali. After the Qaeda converted to Islam, that's when it picked up as far as people.
But majority, I'm talking about majority. of them were in between the continent. Some went out, absolutely yes, because we know that.
Okay,
But
where
majority
did they
were
go? Where did
Yeah,
they go?
I can't speak on that.
to the Middle
I
East.
haven't seen a source that parses that out.
Yeah, to the Middle
No,
East, to
no,
the
the
Middle East.
ones that you say that were within the continent. Who enslaved them?
I look, Lou, I don't want to go into this because it's going to go into
No, I'm
another
asking.
different
It's a
argument.
question.
No, I'm not going to
Not
go
to
into this
argue.
because I know. Listen, I know there's some ethnic group that's still seen as certain caste system in the region of West Africa, and who
Well,
were
Yeah, but
against
that has always when
So I'm not
Shay
going to go
After
into
Joe
that.
speaks about
Let's
that
leave
in
it. Let's leave it.
pre-colonial Black
Let's
Africa.
leave it. I swear I'm not gonna open
No,
the can of worms
I
here because it's
understand, but
gonna.
it's
Okay,
not.
thank you. All right.
In
Okay.
Mauritania,
I
in
want to cite my
Mauritania,
source, brother.
No. Just just leave
in
it.
Mauritania right now, there are tribes there that, you know, I mean, recently, I believe they've sort of defined themselves differently now. The Mauritania
Well,
now,
that's
they call
Ghana
some
Empire to
people.
blame for that, sister. Mauritania, what you see in Mauritania now, you have the Ghana Empire to blame for allowing those people, the warrior king, who was the owner of Ouagadougou, for allowing those people to settle there at the first place. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
but he
That's
didn't
where
know that they
everything
was
started.
finna do all that, brother.
No, I agree, Ngolo. I
But
agree, Ngolo.
They
He
were
didn't know they're
also,
gonna come like
they,
this.
they, they eventually,
Tekras that work with the Amurabids against the Ghana Empire. Why are you distorting history? The Takros, which part of the Fulanese, Mandike, and all those groups were part of the country, they worked with the Amurabids, whom are from the Mauritanian to this in North Africa. They were Barbers. They were not like our own fellow West Africans.
But it was more. It was more for the Spanish. That was more for the
Let me
Spanish
see what I'm saying.
conquest,
Because
and that's what happened. They went out.
what you're doing
Majority of them went out to Spain and Portugal.
Hold on.
They didn't stay in there. In listen, I know because majority of them turned to Muslim. They went out to Spain and Portugal, and it was the first West. It was the first time African descent went to colonize outside Africa. That's you just got to agree with the fact, and then we can move on.
Hold on. What you are doing is the Tekras that the Fulanis are part of. They collaborated with the Arabics that are not West Africans.
just like the Ghana Empire did. Yeah.
Hold on.
Just like the Ghana Empire collaborated with them.
Let me finish now. They partnered with the Amurabids against the Ghana Empire that was fighting against the rebels. The rebels were working with the Ghana Empire against the Amurabids, and you worked with the Amurabid kingdom itself against the rebels of the Berbers. You see what I mean?
To go outside to Spain. Yeah, that's how we managed
to collaborate a non-West African, a non-E1B1A group against E1B1A group. So let's not pretend. Why you trying to say is the Ghana Empire that is the one causing the problem in that area? You are the ones that invited non-West Africans into the region.
No, we did not. You see, you're trying to mix it up again. We just listen.
No,
we all know that. We just made it. We all know that. We just admit. We all just talked about how the Ghana Empire invited the Berbers into the region and traded with them before, while they connive with them to slave the native and export them to the Middle East. And then you have a problem with the same people. We have a problem with the same people aligned with the same Berber group, to destroy the empire, to go to Spain and conquer Spain and actually enlighten, and build a different civilization in Spain. What kind of bias do you have tonight? And then you sit there, you try to glamorize and minimize, exporting Africans to the Middle East as slaves. And you call yourself a Pan-African.
But brother, we gotta be honest though. Those Sanhanja Berbers and the Tukulor came together. They betrayed the Kaya Magan of Ouagadougou. We gotta be honest. But the empire was already dissipated.
Yeah, that's true. What do you expect? Do you expect anything less?
I mean, they had peacefully coexisted with them trading wise for like 300 years, so they didn't expect them to just trade on them like that.
Personally, the little that I've learned, that I do believe that the person that actually sort of destroyed the empire, it's Mansa Musa. Because this
that's not the same. That's the Ouagadougou is not the Mansa Musa. That's Mali. That's far later.
Together. They worked. It was this ethnic group. Yeah, it was a similar ethnic group, but they worked together. It was collective.
But it's not the same. It's not the same empire.
It's not him. It's not the same. Mali was an
That's
established.
hundreds of
This
years
is before
later.
Mali. This is
That's
before
hundreds of
Mali
years
Empire.
later.
Mali.
Yeah.
Mansa
Yeah,
Musa is Mali.
yeah.
I
This
got
is
it
way
wrong.
before. We're talking. This is
Because I think
this is.
he was the
Remember
one going
Ouagadougou?
to
Remember,
Mecca.
sister, Ouagadougou was the first West African empire. Okay, so
Yeah,
just
yeah.
bear that
Sorry,
in
I
mind.
got it wrong.
So,
I got it
okay,
wrong.
okay.
I mean, yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
fine.
You're
We're
right.
here to learn.
I'm
We're here to
recollecting
learn.
now. I'm recollecting. I
Yeah.
mean,
So
I think
anyway,
First West African
was
Empire. You like to make blanket statements. Like, I don't know why you do that. I'm not sure that is true too. You can't just say, "Well, Ouagadougou is the
what?
first West African Empire." Where did he get that from?
Nah, it's the
in that
oldest.
region.
It's the oldest attested one, but it's not the oldest though. It's the
Thank you.
oldest attested by written records. Yeah, but
There might be things exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. They're probably way before that. They're
yeah.
probably way
no.
other things. Well,
No.
documented.
I believe that Mansa Musa also caused a lot of damage because this guy was going to Mecca,
Oh yes,
taking
I
so much
agree. I
gold,
agree. I agree. Yeah, I
taking
agree.
so
I
much
think
gold, giving the
Mm,
Arabs ideas that these people down there, they've got wealth, and that
Nah,
also
yeah.
yeah.
brought a lot of invasions down there. Which
Historically,
he
I'm
was
not a fan of that
prepared.
Cater lineage. I'm gonna be honest. The Caters,
No,
I
I
don't
mean
know.
Why
yeah.
that
I mean
reckless?
the Mali had its good and bad. Just like all empires.
They should have
Why?
stayed.
Go
They
on
should have
tonight.
stayed Conates and not Caters, man. Because the Caters, I don't know,
Why?
bro.
What the lady said was, I've always
Yeah,
thought
let
Mansa Musa.
Tunaja.
I thought Mansa
Yeah.
Musa was a total disgrace for what he did, because with that kind of wealth, he could have owned North Africa completely. He could have conquered the whole area. But instead,
Yeah, I agree.
He didn't
he
even
could go
build
and
his
do
army.
Hajj. He used to go and do Hajj. This is what religion has done to our people. He used it to go and do
Right.
Hajj, basically.
Facts. That's a
Such
good point.
So he could have
Yeah.
taken over North Africa. He could have raised an army, and maybe history would
Yeah.
have
He
been
didn't
different.
have an army. He didn't have a strong army. So by the time
No,
he
but
was off the Hajj and coming back with the Arabs got wind of it, that brought a lot of invasions down there too. That brought
It
in a
did.
lot.
yeah, I mean, this is what we talk about all the time. That's why sometimes I agree with Mr. Tunaja and Mr. Security, when he said you always have to have security. Even though me and you disagree with certain things, there's certain things I agree with you on. We can't disagree all the time. That you cannot build an empire without securing it. You cannot have a country without having security. And this is the fact, and this is the problem we never learn from as people of African descent. And people like Mansa Musa, obviously, yes, there's good some bad. He was very good. He was a very good man. His heart was at the right place, but he was a bit naive. I wouldn't call him a traitor, because a lot of people call him all kind of bad names. I disagree with that. He was a guy with a kind heart, and he
We are
got
not looking
betrayed.
at
That's how I see
intentions.
it.
We are looking at the consequences of what he has done. I know he may be a good person, but sometimes good acts can result in terrible outcomes, and actually evil outcomes.
I
See
don't
what I
even
mean?
know if he was a good person though, because
He was.
that story with Abu Bakr, I don't know, bro. That sounds like a succession dispute. I don't think he traveled out to no ocean. I think Mansa Musa killed him, bro.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
of
deep.
course. No. Okay, I don't know about.
That's another
I never
story.
read about that in my history.
Yeah, because
That's me extrapolating from the story though. Because when you look at Decatur, it was a lot of those succession disputes, and that story is
If I'm
crazy.
not sure, if I'm not sure
why would a
about it,
king just
I don't
leave?
talk about it. Okay.
Yeah, before Mansa Musa got the throne, there was a lot of succession dispute. Yes, there was. That's definitely true. That is stated there. And even Mansa Musa, apparently he wasn't the right person that's supposed to take the throne, but he got it because of
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It was really Abu Bakr, but I don't know. They say he went. He tried to go sail across the ocean, but I don't know about
Well,
that.
he wasn't strong. Abu Bakr wasn't really strong. Look, during his before him is when a lot of people run away to the coast of West Africa today. Most of the ethnic group that you see around the region, like where you call Sierra Leone, Liberia, Guinea, and the far coast. The empire was really weak, and there was a lot of trouble going on. People ran away from there. So
No, that's true.
there is yeah. So I mean, yeah. Listen. This is sort of things that we need to talk about more, and this is where the more you dig deep into our empires. Obviously, one thing I've got to put my hand on. Yes, I need to stop being too negative about certain aspect of it. but there are a lot of positive things that came out. So we need to just dig deep into what our ancestors did. They
Okay,
have made
so
some mistakes that led us down to where we are today, but they have done some great things that the world used to admire. You know.
I think whilst we have a lot of history to unpack
Yeah.
and depict and
Right.
understand, I
Yeah.
think we somehow forget today and what is happening in today's world. Today's world
Right.
is horrific. It's worse than ever. And I don't
Yeah, I
think
agree.
black people sometimes have an understanding of the trouble that we are in and the opportunity that we have to jump somewhat forward because of technology and depending on how one uses technology. There is a lot that we as black people in the world can gain, but we are so disparate, desperate that we somehow aren't forming alliance, connectivity. If you don't want to call it unity, there needs to be a connectivity between all of us because it's necessary. It's necessary that we are somewhat self-aware. This thing that's going on between FBA and I too got very little to do with FBA, apart from they irritate me. And then what's going on in South Africa, I really align them. And then what's going on in Europe and the way the European is changing the scope of understanding as we speak. And these things I think are connected. And their connectivity would fall against us as black people globally. And I think we've got, as much. I'm a historian myself, and I do a lot of research. I've done a lot of research. However, where we are today is not. I think we've got more. We have more responsibility with today than we do have of yesterday. And unless we really understand what's happening today, it could be historical that brings us into the day, which we understand, but it's our future that we're really talking about. Those who have children, I don't know if you understand what world you brought your children into. This is a madness. The planet right now is worse than ever. It's worse than ever. So we tear each other down all the time and we enjoy it, I suppose. But there is more important things, I believe. And it seems to me also that when people make serious statements, and people have made serious statements on this platform, it seems that we can ignore those serious statements instead of really impacting them or them impacting us. And we look for people who are making, silly utterances that don't need any respect, really. And I don't know.
Before you carry on, your earlier submission just before a few seconds ago was excellent. The way you were able to enunciate the challenges that we face today and how they are all linked is actually a great way. You have your talents, and sometimes I don't want you to get distracted and start insulting and cursing
Oh, I love a
because
bit
you
of an insult. I love a bit of an insult. You know me?
look at that.
Sorry.
You can't resist. So, but that was a good submission there because I think we do have some significant challenges ahead of us, and we don't seem to be linking all this together from what is going on in South Africa, Europe, and even in the Middle East. They are all linked,
Yeah.
and sooner or later they'll come after us. Sooner, one way or the other, is going to hit us, and we have to be ready for it. So, I agree
Indeed.
with that. Thank you.
Can I also add this? I don't know if anybody's following the World Cup. I know Americans don't really like football, or European, whatever.
Soccer.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that word. Even though it's in the English lexicon, that's a secondary word. It's football. All is football. Rugby is football. All of it is football at the end of the day. But anyway, in this football, what I've seen from Americans of all shades is a real appreciation of how the world looks. Because it seems to me that a lot of Americans didn't really understand that there were so many black people in the world. When we find black people represented in the Middle East, in Europe, even in Japan, black people are there. That should give everyone an understanding of our wealth in the humankind. Humanity is ours, but we overlook it. We overlook ourselves as the prime. I don't even want to boast and say prime human beings, but the way FBA doesn't make sense is as though they're the only people in the world, and they're not even representing Black America. So some of these things that they just mess my mind up. But the World Cup, for all its ills that we have seen, it's been good on showing America what the world really looks like, in my estimation.
Hey, can I
All right,
add
guys. All right,
something?
guys. Let me read the super chat. Mrs. Sandman 8996 thank you for 99 holla. I believe our great grandchildren in 4 or 5 generations will look back at us and call us the groundbreaking Enlightenment generation. Let me pass the mic to M, then Trocon Ellis. Then we're gonna close out.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I'm listening to the show, enjoying the show, and the last segment was kind of gut wrenching. Listening to V, I guess she introduced the concept. I guess when she gets on, she wants to downplay the atrocities that Ghana played, the slavery, saying it's not that bad because Julius Caesar killed so many people, Stalin did so much, Genghis Khan did so much, so we not that bad. You
Money
see what I'm
putting it
saying?
in
So I'm
context.
looking
I'm putting
like, and
it
then
in
you got this
context.
guy Angola. Oh yeah, sure. You know, he just goes along with anything positive about Africa, whatever, regardless of the atrocity. Oh, Mali, of course, you did the slavery too. And then Africa saying, oh, that was interior. It's not like what y'all was doing. Y'all was selling people that. No, it's the whole discussion was like listening to Stalin and Hitler saying who's the worst. And the whole conversation is who about Hebrew Israelites, see the identity crisis. And then I guess I'm giving a synopsis of what I heard in the show. And a lot of the Africans actually agree. Some of the Caribbeans agree with the Israelite philosophy, Dragoon, and they getting down,
I didn't
shot
agree.
down.
I was asking questions, but carry
Right,
on.
you was a curiosity, but you know they was shooting you down like it's like a thought police going on. But my opinion is this: when we have children, half of your genetics is destroyed. Right, you got 500 years of your genetics being destroyed. Can we really call ourselves Africans at this point? Especially the rituals and the lack of accountability. Like I don't even think about slavery, to be honest with you. I think
Africans,
about the future.
I'm sorry,
But every
but
time it
the
seems like
current
the people
generation of
talk, they
Africans don't have
go
to be
right back
accountable
500
to
years
anybody.
into the past. How can we
No,
ever really move forward?
listen.
Go ahead.
In this world, right? There were atrocities everywhere. It happened, and I was only trying to put it into context. But to constantly go back and say the Africans did this, the African did this, and the lack
I
of
mean, if it's
accountability,
true, it's
I
etched in
was not
stone.
alive.
Like,
I was not living
go
at the
ahead.
time it
I
happened.
mean,
I
Pharaoh
wasn't
was
living
saying
at
it
the
like
time.
most of the
No
stuff he's talking
African
about.
living at the time.
You are correct. You don't need to explain to people
Like
that.
Pharaoh, the
Yeah,
guy
he's
Pharaoh was
disingenuous.
saying,
Don't even just
none
let
of
him
y'all
talk.
was
He's
here
disingenuous.
during the time of Wagadu or 600 AD. You just going off of oral stories or like written history, whatever. But we in the present, we could accept the past,
Yes,
you know, if
and
it was bad, whatever. But what are we
learn
doing
history.
now? What are we
We have
doing
to
to build a
learn
future?
history. We have to learn history. Do our best to teach our children so they
But you
shouldn't
don't want to
repeat it.
accept that it was an atrocity. You say, okay, America dropped
What have
bombs.
you done?
I ain't gonna use the
How
B
many
word,
times have
but
you heard me
on
speaking about?
Hiroshima. But do you know
Of
what
course, it
the
was an
Japanese was doing in
atrocity.
China? The rape of Nanking. Do you know the atrocity? Do you remember Pearl Harbor when they destroyed that whole air base?
Man, Pearl Harbor was preemptive action, bro.
I
That's
mean,
not no
you
atrocity,
pseudo
bro.
babble. You
It's
pseudo
a
babble.
war.
The one
You
that's
don't
talking
even know
about
what you're
sources.
talking about. You
going with
but
your
dude,
pseudo babble.
you talking about atrocities. You don't even know the context of what's talking about, bro. You can't
Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. What you
explain any of
talking
the
about?
cast. Explain any of the cast and well-off culture that we talking about. That'll name the quote
It
unquote
doesn't
slave
matter.
cast.
It
You
doesn't
don't know what
matter
you. All right, then why are you commenting on it? You don't know what you're talking
because it
about.
was mentioned.
You
Y'all
don't know
arguing
whether
about who's the
you
worst
don't know
slave
whether it's
master.
atrocity
Is
or
it
not.
Mali?
You don't
Is it
know whether it's
Ouagadougou?
atrocity or not because you
It
don't know what
doesn't
you're
matter
talking
who's the
about.
worst slave
You got it,
master.
caller. New caller. You got it upside down. I think.
It doesn't. It
I don't.
doesn't
I think you're
matter
taking
who's
it
the worst slave master.
emotionally.
Nah, but you
You're
again,
taking
Who's the
this shit
biggest killer?
emotionally, bro.
Is it me?
nah,
Is it
he's
Genghis
not.
Khan?
Dude has
Is
an
it
agenda,
Julius
bro. He
Caesar?
comes on here disingenuous. Like it's not even. I don't
Is
even
that
know why
not what
y'all
was
be addressing
mentioned?
him, bro. Just
Who
let
Julius
him
is
Caesar
talk.
he?
killed 1,000,000 people.
What's his
Then he
name?
said,
What's
"Oh,
his name?
he
I
did. At
don't
least he
know
didn't
his
do it in his
name.
own land."
Real quick, I'm gonna leave, bro.
Yeah.
Let me kill his own people.
Let me put the mic to Trocon because we got to close out. Go ahead, Trocon.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, when the scripture talk about Israel, right? They talking about the name of Jacob. Jacob's
That's
name was
right.
changed. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. It wasn't like a place.
It wasn't a
Just his
place.
name.
It was
It wasn't
always
a
a
place.
name.
It was his
Always.
name. His name was changed to Israel. So that
Well
the
said.
children of Israel was black people. And I got scripture to back that up too, if you want it.
Jano.
Man, get out of here with that pseudo
Hey,
stuff,
yo.
man.
It was pseudo. Why can't you hear what he said? That's the truth.
I rather take the book. I rather take the scripture.
I mean, you didn't
Whatever
even
he
listen
said.
to him before you concluded that it's pseudo.
Because he just what he just said. I listened to him. It's regular nonsense.
Well, guys.
That's
Let
your
go ahead,
business. That's
Trocon.
your
Let him
mouth.
finish.
I'd rather take the scripture than anything you say. Everything you say, that's trash. I don't care for that. I'd rather take God's word. That's he been here longer than everybody. So I'd rather take him over you.
Yeah, that's how I know you think
That's
like
how
a
I do.
European.
I don't
You
think
think
I'm
like
no
a European, bro. Talking about God and using pronouns. You think like a European.
Angolo, please stop that, man. Please.
Nah, but nah, Jago, you got objectively, you gotta
Angola.
say that's a fact. Putting
Angola, let me ask you
pronouns to
this.
the creator is European. That's not
Angola.
African.
No. Just let him speak
Why
his
do
speak.
Israel accept
You
the
speak
black
your speak,
Hebrew
and
Israelites?
he will speak his speak.
Because the people that's running Israel is fake Jews too. So of course they would
So how you
acknowledge
gonna prove they
some
fake
other
Jews?
fake
That's
Jews.
pseudo too. Everybody's
But
fake
you like this
except you.
conversation, man.
Everybody's fake except you.
The scripture just talk about that. So the scripture is not written by no white man or nothing like that. What you be talking about?
Hey, do you know? Explain to me what the ecumenical
The
councils
scripture
were.
is not written by no
What
white man.
were the ecumenical councils? What were the ecumenical
Listen, I don't
councils?
care.
Please explain to me.
I don't care about nothing you say. That's trash. I'd rather
Of
take the
course,
He
book.
just
I'd rather take that scripture.
regurgitating Euro babble, pseudo babble.
That Euro Babel, they created that book
Pseudo
that he's
babble.
reading. So
You live in America.
they canonized the Euro Babel
You ain't even in
canonized that book
Africa,
you
man.
talking about.
When you gonna go back to Africa and spreach your pseudo babble?
I'm already going back.
You in America right now.
I got
Speaking
3
your
more
pseudo
weeks.
babble.
I got 3 more weeks.
Who's the biggest slave master, Mali or
When you
Ouagadougou?
get there, make sure you call. Make sure
Who's
you
the
call
better
in,
slave
bro.
master? Who's the better slave master, Angola, Ouagadougou or Mali? Who's better?
Neither.
Hey, hold on, guys. Hey, Trocon, do you believe in the story of Noah?
Yes.
Yes, I believe everything the scripture say. I believe everything. From
So you
Genesis to
believe in the
Revelation, I
story?
believe
So you
everything.
believe in the story of Noah?
It's true.
He
Yes, I
just
believe in the
answered.
story
He's
of Noah.
answered.
I believe that's how I'm trying to make it easy for you. I believe on
It's absolutely
that's
true.
God.
Hey, where are you from, brother? Where are you from?
Liberia.
Why
That's
is
where I'm
that?
from.
Oh man, you from the continent talking about this, bro?
It's
You
absolutely true.
are ashamed to your ancestors, bro. You are ashamed to your ancestors,
I
bro.
don't care about no ancestor. I care more
You
about God
ashamed
and
to your
Himself.
ancestors,
I don't
bro.
You
care.
said it. You
You
said
are
it. Don't say it
disgrace.
again. You said it 3 or 4 times. It's all right, Gongolo.
Nah, it gotta sink in.
God did
Nah.
everything for me. I don't care about no ancestor. God the
God
one
have made
that do
everything
everything
for
for me.
me. Yeah.
That's what I'm
All right.
saying. Yeah.
God is the
Everything you
reason
say
we
is
got a
trash.
son. Hey, Angola, who created the
Man,
sun?
y'all are
Angola,
smoking good crack, bro.
Angola,
No, it's
who
not.
made the
Yo,
sun?
I dare you. No, hold on. I dare you to
Who
take
made
the
the
scripture.
I
sun,
don't know
Angola?
why
Do you
we're
know?
arguing. I just
Man,
don't know why.
get out of here,
Why is it
bro.
turning into an
You
argument?
ecumenical
He rather believe in
sources
a
to tell me
trash.
about the
He
sun.
rather
Man,
Why is
believe in
it
look,
some
turned
bro.
into an
All
trash.
right,
argument?
Where
Why
did
can't
the
we
bro.
just
sun
say?
come from?
We've
Nah,
hardly
I'm gonna
heard
let
what
What
the
you
you
guy
say
go.
had
is
to say.
trash.
Be wrong or
Explain it,
right.
Angola.
What you talking about? Ain't
Explain
no
the
white man write
sun.
no
Where did it
slavery.
come from?
No white man ain't write no book. I can a
Yes,
white
Gas.
he
man write a book
did.
against him?
That
What are
white
you
man
talking about?
canonized that book for you to read it
That's
in
a
English
lie.
today.
That's a
King
Now you
lie.
James
talking
was a
about
black
Jesus.
man.
That's a lie. White man don't
King
write no
James
book.
wasn't a white man.
How can a white man
King,
write a book right against him?
hold on. Stop.
How can a white man write a book
Oh,
against him?
Troker, I said stop.
Go
Hold
ahead.
on.
My bad.
What'd you say, Em?
I said King James was a black man.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
His name, you can look at,
We
I
got
can prove it to you. I can prove it to you. He has his picture in the
You want
1611 King
Dennis to
James
shut this
Bible.
shit down, man.
His picture's in the Bible. He's a black man. You can look it
Oh,
up.
shut up.
He has
Shut
his
up,
own,
man.
his illustration is inside the Bible.
How about this? Let me
These
show
is
you.
Black
If
Americans
King
for you.
James,
This is an
These
if King,
actual
ain't black
Bible. You
man.
can look it up
wait,
right now.
Please hold on a minute. Please hold on a minute. If King James was a black man, and I'm not saying he was this or that, if he was a black man, then do you know that his Bible poisoned the whole world and allowed slavery to take place
Actually,
as
the
a black
Pope
man.
did. The Pope is the Catholic.
Yeah, he was. You know, they're all connected.
King James was not under the Catholic. He's a Protestant. He had to.
Oh
Martin
dear
Luther
me.
separated from the Catholic
Oh
Church.
dear me, bro. Oh dear me.
The Pope Nicholas ordained slavery. It wasn't King James. It was the Catholic Church.
I'm a white man.
Papal
Bro,
Bull of
this
Dumb
is the
Diversion.
Twilight Zone, bro. You got an African on here talking about
all the
Jesus.
sources, but you don't know that.
I love black people, bro.
You got an African on there talking about Jesus, and you got somebody that claims to be Black American talking about some King James was black. We in the
Angola, tell me
Twilight
this.
Zone, bro.
Angola, tell me this. Who is Saint Maurice?
Saint Mauritius.
Saint Maurice,
He
who
was
is he?
Saint Maurice is synonymous.
What did he do?
He was in North Africa. He was a patron
No, he was
saint.
German. He was German.
He was an Egyptian. He was an Egyptian. He was part of the Theban Legion. He was a Roman general from Egypt.
So what was
If he was an Egyptian, if he was an Egyptian, Maurice could not have been his name. Maurice,
Nah, it's
anything like that.
It's Mauritius.
Look his name. Look him up.
That's a Roman word. That's a Roman.
I know.
He was a Roman general.
That's what they call it.
And he's depicted in Switzerland right now as a black man.
Black Asia. Like,
What does that have to do with King James? And what does that have to do with white people canonizing the Bible?
Because what's his name? Africa said earlier that he saw a documentary that showed the Roman general was a black man that conquered England. So it was black people all over Europe. That's why King James is black. It was something that Africa verified it earlier.
What you read? Ancient and Modern Britons. You read the book Ancient and Modern Britons. Bro, y'all are pseudo crazy.
I didn't read that book. But you know everything. Africa said earlier that he saw a documentary where the Roman
I can't hear
general.
nothing, man. I can't hear nothing. I can hear my name being called. I can't hear nothing.
Do you know? I know. Do you know Durham? To Count Durham in the north of England.
Durham, yes, of course.
Yeah, Durham. Do you know there's a village in Durham? One second, guys. There's a village in Durham, in north of England. 1 out of 6 people that you count there are actually
No, we lost.
Your mic went out. It was Jesus.
You see.
Sorry, my bad.
This is serious discussion right now.
I rather believe in Jesus than I ain't talking about the
Man, look, bro. Tell that white boy on the stick. Where was that white boy on the stick during slavery, man?
What white boy on the stick? What are you talking about?
That white boy.
The Jesus they be talking about.
I don't believe in that.
Ngolo.
Wait.
Do you accept? When you calm down, do you accept
You see somebody
that?
believe in white Jesus?
You know, wrongly or rightly.
You don't know nothing about that book.
Okay.
All right, bro.
Okay.
Wrongly or rightly, you go. Wrong. Wait. Please wait.
I'll come after you. Go on.
Thank you. Do you know, Ngolo, that a good, 50% of the black world is Christian, and are you going to just name call all of them and tell them that they're following a white man and point finger? Is that how you're going to do it?
But Jagoon, they are.
Yeah, and I'm not pointing a finger. I just don't deal with them seriously.
I'm asking Ngolo.
But Jagoon, we don't even produce our own Bibles.
No, I understand that. Wait. That is not why I'm asking. I'm not asking from a black power point of view. I'm asking from a point of view is right now, with Ngolo not allowing somebody to come and speak because of what he's saying. Is that how he's treating half of the world? Is that how you...
Can I finish what I was
saying? Yes, it needs to be drowned out. The nonsense needs to be drowned out.
Tell me this.
He can speak though.
You ain't gonna do it.
He can speak though.
What type of Christian was Saint Maurice?
Anyway, the point.
What type of
He was a monophysite.
He was a Coptic. A Coptic Christian.
Yeah, a monophysite Coptic. Yeah.
He was in the Anglo. He was in the.
That poor guy. He's white. He's so weak.
This was before the Roman Empire adopted Christianity.
Stop it.
It was way before Caesar Borgia. Christianity didn't start
The
from the Roman
Empire is
Empire.
not the same as the Roman Empire.
It's my like Durham, brother. It's like yeah. So in County Durham in the UK, there's 1 out of 6 person in the village is directly related to a former Roman general who was an African guy. So you're right. There used to be a lot of military generals during the Roman Empire. in the UK, and these were the people who were part of it.
Bath was created. It was all created. It all started with them, the Romans entering into Britain.
Yes, that's it.
No, they had a lot of Nubian, and they had a lot of Nubian and conscript and quote unquote Ethiopian conscripts in the armies.
Right. Yes. Yes.
You talking about conscripts? You had
for people to act like these people was just leading the Roman culture, that's just nonsense. It didn't happen.
I'm gonna tell you this. Do you know
some of them were
the
leaders,
Roman province of Africa?
No, they were. I'm saying leading Roman culture.
Tell
as
me,
far as like being
Angola, you know everything. Angola, you know everything, right? Tell me about the Roman province of Africa.
Predominantly white.
Tell me about the Roman province of Africa.
What do you want to know about Afrikaners?
Tell me about it.
What do you want to know about it? They came through multiple wars with Carthage. They came and they had the tip.
Established after the destruction of Carthage by Julius Caesar. He had two Africas. It was Nova, Africa Nova.
This is
Africa
common
Veteran.
knowledge, brother. This is common knowledge.
And it was full of black people. You got Saint.
That's not true. That's not true.
The center. Listen, at this time, the center of the Roman Empire moved from Rome to North Africa.
Was Hannibal Barca? Was Hannibal Barca a sub-Saharan African?
This is way after. He was in Carthage.
I'm asking you though. This. No, I shouldn't even be asking you this. I know what you're going to say. Yes, because you're a pseudo.
What are you up to? Simple as that, Golo. It's as simple as that. Golo.
I already know these. I shouldn't be.
You're a funny guy, my brother.
Created the term Africa when he rebuilt Carthage.
This is common knowledge.
Of the Roman, you had the Roman province of Africa, Roman province of Egypt, right next to each other. Then you had the Roman Empire in Rome. Then you had the Byzantine Empire under Justinian later on. So you had three different sections of the Roman Empire. But Africa was the main one.
Let me show you something. It's not to say I agree with anybody on the panel, but let me just show you something. I lived in Spain for 10 years. And in those 10 years, I traveled the whole of Europe, especially Spain and Portugal. And in these travels, I saw the complexion difference from the north of Spain to the southern Spain. And it wasn't the sun. It was not the sun. You can see clearly that these people are mixed differently. They're mixed completely.
Southern Spain has been had waves of mixture though. They've been mixing for thousands of years.
It's not only that they've been mixed.
Hey, guys, let V talk, and we gotta close out. Go ahead, V.
No, I was going to agree with Jogun that in southern Spain and Portugal, they have a lot of North African ancestry. North African ancestry, not the current North African ancestry, the ancient North African.
Absolutely.
The current North African ancestry, they have more Levantine, Turk, and all that mix in there. But the southern Spain and Portugal, they have the ancient North African ancestry that went there. They still hold their ancestry there. So some of them are very dark skin, like mixed race and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's true.
People from the Levant have been coming to the Iberian Peninsula for thousands of years though. They've had the
are you saying Ngolo that those people that were coming, that they were more European in their look than African?
No, they look like people from the Levant.
The same people now that are there now.
Yes, relatively.
Nah,
yes,
man.
yes,
no,
now,
bro.
yes.
No, man. No,
Yes.
man. No, man.
Yes.
You can say yes as much as you like with your pseudo shit, but it's rubbish.
Okay,
Because people move. There has been major migration. It's what you miss out. Unfortunately, Ngolo, it's what you miss out in all your rhetoric. All your rhetoric doesn't accept that people, the majority of people that are in West Africa right now have moved there. They have all been nomadic people, all of us.
When did I ever say that was to the contrary of that? I never said that was the case.
Well, you speak as though that's not the case because let me finish lambasting you. The north of Africa was largely African. The north of it was largely African. It wasn't the people that are there now. The people that are there now are newcomers. They're newcomers.
I'm not saying that's not the case.
It's the
I didn't
case,
say that
my
wasn't
friend.
the case.
But it
I
is the
didn't,
case,
but
and you're not
I did not.
accepting
I
that.
never said that wasn't the case.
It's your lack of acceptance of that that gives your own history
No,
purview a
Again,
sickening
you're making
connotation.
assumptions and presuppositions
It's a
that I
great
never said
assumption.
or stated.
It's a great assumption.
No, it's not a great assumption because
It is,
I'm not
bro.
going to say I know that there was population replacement, especially from the Green Sahara
Well,
period.
why don't you
That's an
include that?
extremely long time ago. This is way before the period that y'all are talking about. So
No, it's not,
that's
bro.
what I'm talking. If you're
If
talking
you
about
go
the
to Spain,
Levant,
bro,
the
I'll tell
sister
you this.
brought up people from the Levant.
Let me show you
going
why
into
I
North
spoke
Africa.
about. Let me show you why I spoke about Europe and the Mediterranean. If you go to any
Your mic went out. But what the sister was talking about, people going to the Levant, the North Africans of
you
today
would
being
see.
more Levantine. People in
Let
the
me
Levant
finish.
have been
Please,
going up
please
to
let me finish.
that.
Please let me finish. Please let me
Oh,
finish.
my bad. Your
Have
mic
some
went out.
decorum. Have
Your
some
mic went
decorum.
out.
All I'm saying is from Turkey. If you travel from Turkey all the way to Portugal, you would see clearly pure depictions, antiquated depictions of African, the black African, right across. Especially if you go to the island territories like Corsica, like Sardinia, like Malta. If you go to these places, bruh, you can see who were the real original seafarers in that region. And they were all African looking, all of them. But you think it's some antiquated thing that we can't even speak about, we have no memory of. Why do you speak like that?
I did. When did I see again? You're still
No,
presupposing stuff
why
I
do you
never
speak like
stated.
that, bro? You speak
That's
as
an
though
assumption. I'm
it's not an
saying
assumption. It's an
the
assumption
time
based on what
period
you
that y'all
said.
are talking about, the time periods that y'all are talking about is not the case. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, of
What
course,
time period are we talking
there's
about?
documented
What time period?
population replacement within Europe and the Eurasian steppe of the Yamnaya people genetically. They went and replaced the quote unquote darker melanated populated people, melanated phenotypical people that were in Europe. What people would call Grimaldi
Would you accept
with
this?
that fine, but
See
they
if you
still,
would accept.
even phenotypically though, they still wasn't.
Oh,
They
okay.
didn't look like us though.
All right, as far as you're concerned, all right. Would you accept that the first and original Vikings were black? Would you accept
No,
that?
that's nonsense.
All right, fair enough. Then I just know where you are.
I
It's
don't know about
nonsense
that.
because you
No,
said
do you know
so.
why? Do you know why?
No, it's nonsense
Africa?
because there's nothing to
Because
there's
you
no
said so.
there's
All right,
no
all right.
there's
All right,
no
all right.
there's no
All right.
attested sources that would
All right, attested
tend to
sources.
that
Thank you,
yield to that being the case.
thank you. We know your rhetoric. Now, I'm telling you, Africa, without paying just to go and research it to the depth as to where the Vikings came from originally, and they came from the other side of Asia. They didn't come from Europe. They traveled there. If you look at what the Vikings did in England, do you know the first thing that they was teaching the English people to do is to bathe? Do you know how many women forgot their English white man and went with the Vikings because they were of a different they weren't European. The original ones of them were not European as me and you would look at it. This is what I'm saying. The amount of lies that have been laden upon this planet that we take up and start talking about pseudo or start talking about you need a peer review, and we start speaking like that. When we start speaking like that, then we know who is accepting lies and who isn't.
You're not gonna talk with me. Jago, so where did the Vikings originate from?
They originated originally from like the other side of Europe. They traveled over.
From where?
It was one region exactly. There
They're
was a collection.
Scandinavians, if I'm not mistaken.
They're Scandinavians today. They're Scandinavians today, but they're
like Norse. They're like Norse Scandinavian, like the north as north as you can get.
Yeah, Norsemen. Now
I don't know about that. So I will have to research it. I have to research it.
I'm under the impression that the Vikings never
You see,
existed.
the
They
thing
just
is,
made it up
the thing
in the
is,
1800s.
as much as I or anybody else may come on and deliver information that we may or may not have heard of before, doesn't cancel it. It means that you, who are ignorant of these facts, would need to go and do some research.
They're
That's
not
what
fact, but it's not fact though.
No, it's according to you, but you're nobody special to think about when it comes to history. You're not my provider for history. I can read, so therefore I do that. as opposed to coming here to listening to talking rubbish about what he thinks about
Again,
history.
we asked you where they came from. You said the other side of Europe. What is, or Asia? What does that
No,
mean?
I didn't say that. I said the other side of Asia. They
Where?
came like from
Where?
Iran, that kind of
Lord,
area.
G, stop it.
Brother.
No, there is some merit to that. There is some as far as the inception. There's merit to them being.
Brother Ngolo.
The Eurasian step.
Brother Ngolo, as much as I may say and talk rubbish in terms of what I say about you, I really respect you. I respect you as somebody who kind of really digs deep and wants to know what he's talking about as opposed to talking pure and unadulterated rubbish. I respect what you're saying. What I'm saying is that this planet has been a total movement. The Australians, the original Australians that we call Aborigines today, they got there. They didn't come out of the ground. They got there. They traveled there. You understand? So we look how far Australia is. Look how far away it is from Africa. Look at the routes that they say they took to get there.
Genetically, we're not the
That's
same
the
people.
other side of the world completely. So somehow it's too difficult for us to think that we as Africans who populated the whole planet, we were the ones who populated this whole planet. We were the first everywhere in the world. For us to think that, Vikings are blonde. Vikings are
you know what I find interesting?
But they originated from the Caspian steppe, but that doesn't make them black, brother. That's crazy to say that.
I'm not telling you that you're crazy.
You tried to discount Abu Bakr going to the Americas by saying that he was somehow killed by Mansa Musa. Because that's one piece of evidence that people use to say that West Africans could have possibly made it to Americas
That's
before.
not why I said that. I prefaced my statement by saying that's an extrapolation. It's not a historical fact. I said it sounds like it due to the context of there being succession dispute during that period, bro.
Jude
is a dumb, bro. You are so dumb. You are an idiot.
I don't think we need to critique that. I like that. I like when Ngolo said that.
No, it's not. You're an idiot.
Oh, dear.
Because you want to discount evidence, documented evidence that they went on ships to the Americas. You saying it was fake because you have no proof to say it's fake.
I didn't say that. I said I extrapolated due to the context. That's not a historical fact.
Not something that's documented. Extrapolate.
I said I extrapolated that from the story. Again, I didn't say that's a historical fact. I'm not like you. I don't make up stuff.
I wouldn't attack a story that people
You're an idiot.
Scholars already use that story. You want to just jump up and say it's fake with no evidence whatsoever, and nobody checked it.
I said but by the context, because there was succession disputes. There was succession disputes in chronological order. I said it would be. I extrapolated that it could have been
so.
that he killed him. I didn't say that's not a historical.
You didn't prove nothing. You start claiming that Mali was a worse slave master than a Ouagadougou.
You don't even, bro. You don't even know about Ouagadougou, bro. The only reason you just started using that term is because you just heard it on it.
You said you say Mali is a worse slave master than them, and you say Ghana was a better slave trader than Mali.
I don't use the term Ghana.
You would say Ghana, whoever Ouagadougou, Ghana, they not as bad as Mali. They didn't do as much damage.
They weren't as far as them
participated. So either or, they both are bogus.
I don't care what your opinion is towards that though. That's a subjective opinion. You can't. There's no way to empirically prove that, and you definitely are not qualified.
It is evidence. They both participated.
You don't know anything about the culture. You don't even know the area. You can't even name the area where it occurred. You're an idiot.
Regardless of that, they both are equally involved in slavery. None is better than the other. You said that they're not as bad. It's not that bad.
Okay. I mean,
y'all heard the discussion.
Give him a cookie.
I gotta read the super chat real quick now. Let's see here. Ja and Zola, thank you for 99 holla. I encourage y'all to look into the EM78 Paternal Hapla group among the Niger Congo speaking peoples of the Nuba Mountains. It may point to a northeastern African origin or some Niger Congo groups. Boom. All right, guys. Thank you for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family dynasty, research for peace.
Hanging about. Those who are hanging about.
Thank you.